Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to get through this thing called life. Electric word, life. It means forever, and that's a mighty long time. But I'm here to tell you there's something else. I'm RxOliver, these are my friends. This is session 9 of After the End for Ashes Without Number. I'm here with the amazing Brian C, Max, Dave, and Logan Bryan, and I can't wait to get stuck in. So without any further ado, we're going to hand it over to the Bryans, I believe, because we're doing some leveling.
Yes.
Okay. Well, before we do Abigail's level up, I do want to start the session as I have been, and just give you guys a quick
recap
reminder of what you've been doing and where you are.
Yes,
so
please.
as we finished last session, we were 11 days had passed, so you were still in day 12. As far as you know, because you haven't been there for a couple of days now, you still have roughly 5 days of food left for now 12 remaining survivors, as you've just rescued a couple of people from the police substation, which you spent the last session investigating, and perhaps happily for you, I don't know, not actually engaging in any combat
happy.
with
I'm very happy about that.
some creatures that you caught some hints and glimpses of as
Aliens!
you examined this
E.T. no home.
substation. You did, in fact, I'll remind you, although I'm sure you haven't forgotten, find a couple of open cells where one time drunks and unruly people may have been spending the night in the police substation. Now, unfortunately, those were filled with bodies, some of which appeared to be members of the group you now refer to as the Red Hand, some of which appeared to have just been random wasters or survivors, whatever you want to call them, and a few of them appeared to have been members of the children of the father, one of which survived by cowering under bodies and covering himself in their blood, and we won't think about how he sustained himself, however long he was in this cage with these other
He had blood around his
fallen
mouth
people.
like he'd been eating fresh bodies.
He did. He, however, managed to escape from all of you as the power, because the police substation was receiving somehow a small amount of power. The power went out, and there was this loud thrumming, just kind of thumping noise, and you all rushed outside at the moment with this child of the father in hand, and then looked up, and you were all a bit struck with the strange craft that levitated above the police substation and seemed to pull some kind of possibly solar charging generator up on an umbilical from the roof of the substation into the body of the craft. The craft was massive enough that it actually was probably one of the first times you've been outside and not have snow falling on you, because it was essentially covering the entire area with its size. And it flew off to the northwest. And as it flew off over the buildings to the northwest, at a decent clip, you did also see that either a SAM or a well-targeted RPG of some kind erupted from the surface. You all assume roughly, because you know where, in the location of the hospital, and struck this craft, which then seemed to have a bit of a problem with secondary explosions as it flew off to the northwest, and shortly thereafter you heard the definite sound of some kind of a crash, and there was even a concussive force that followed shortly thereafter, possibly indicating a larger explosion, or the physical heft of this thing crashing into the ground, just feeling it through the ground as it came back to you.
I wonder
So
whether
that's where we left off.
Yeah, I wonder whether their stress went up or down for shooting at an alien craft.
Probably went sky high and then down when they shot it down.
Okay.
Well, my problem is like, how the hell do they have those?
Well, it's a
I'm
good
more
question.
concerned with the fact that there's aliens, Max, than there's SAM sites. at
Well,
the
I know
hospital.
about that, but it's like they can shoot the alien down. That's another problem.
I mean, you can imagine that it makes sense to me that now the hospital is the location where the remaining government people and military people of Argentina, or of Buenos Aires anyway, have gathered. Buenos Aires is the capital city of Argentina, so I imagine it has a military base. I imagine it has a parliament building.
Probably. I mean, there might even be some U.S. bases around here.
Probably is a U.S. military
but
base.
again,
yeah.
keep in mind, it's been 5 years
Been
since
5
the
years.
end.
But
So
Buenos Aires is the capital city of the country, so it's going to have the government will be here, the army will be here. So this is probably where where they've managed to take a stronghold is the hospital. That's probably where we'll find the president or whoever's acting, or what's left of the government. Do you know what I mean?
Am I misremembering something? I thought the hospital was in the hands of the Red Hand.
that is Tim's assumption.
That's your assumption,
and
yeah.
that I think that is everyone else's assumption as well, because all of you in earlier sessions we discussed that Sophia, Emma's character, and some of the others as well had seen the telltale kind of red handprint on a lot of the buildings around the hospital, and in fact on the hospital itself when they've been close enough to it. So yeah, that is the assumption, that the Red Hand is holding the hospital.
In which case, if they're the government,
How's
why
the
are they
red?
attacking you?
How's the Red Hand got SAMs? They must have taken over. They've taken over a military base or something. They've been into a military base, taken over to have SAM sites or RPGs or missile launchers. They've been into some sort of military base to get them.
Well, that is probably fairly certain, yes. Whether or not they're currently holding that, or, I mean, you just don't know. There's a lot you don't know at this point.
I mean, that suggests that if they did, they've overrun the military.
Well, we certainly don't want them to start using SAMs or RPGs on anywhere we are.
No, absolutely
That
not.
is, assuming you're happy to have me with you.
Oh, no, of course, yeah. Charlemagne's whole mission here is to gather as many survivors as he can to get all the good people together for strength in numbers. I'm trying to gather a flock. It's my... What do you call it? It's an actual thing, isn't it? My goal, personal goal, is to gather a flock.
Well, that was your personal goal. I don't know that you've updated it further yet, but you have already kind of achieved the beginnings of gathering the flock, right? So I gave you that bonus.
So I'm gonna change it then.
Okay.
To maintain some level of normalcy. Is that a word? Normalcy is not a word, is it?
Yeah,
normality.
yeah. It absolutely
is. It is.
No,
No,
normalcy is a word.
It's not normality.
No,
They're both
normalcy.
I don't. Normalcy
They're
sounds
both
like it's a
words,
fake word.
but
I don't like it. I'm
normalcy.
going with normality.
It's not. It's real.
To maintain
Okay,
some
alright.
level of normality and community.
Okay.
That's my new one.
Now, speaking of which, before we get much further into this, let's go ahead and handle Abigail's level up, because Brian had to run pretty quick at the end of the last session. Oliver, if you do ever want to show any of the other characters, I have gone ahead and given you ownership over all of the characters as well, so that you can pop them open if we want to show that to
I
the
won't go
crowd.
snooping in people's character sheets, but if we're ever showing them to the
Sure.
viewers, that's handy. So we can show the viewers
Yeah,
a
yeah.
level up
Oh,
now.
yeah.
Okay, so actually, I could probably just set you as observed to all the character sheets, and you wouldn't be able to do anything.
And then I
to
wouldn't be
them,
able to
but we
change them,
trust each
yeah.
other. Yeah. We trust each other. It's fine.
Yeah, we do.
So first thing Abigail will need to do, as you have hit level 4, is you'll need to roll those hit points. So you're rolling
48
4d6
or 46.
plus
8.
plus 8. 46 plus 8. Yep. Because you're hard to kill.
Wow. 21.
21. So
Okay.
It's up a few points.
Yeah, that puts you up a lot.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
What's it
Hey, a little bit is
So,
better,
yeah,
better than
you're-
ours. We had like a +1.
So your derived stats are under your attributes now. So yep, you found
Yeah.
it, and then you can upgrade. So you were at 12, which means you were down. You had 19, so you were down what 7?
Mhm.
So you would gain. You'd be at whatever 21 minus 7 is.
14.
14.
Yeah, there you go.
I think
Okay,
I think that's
so
something
we
I
got
have
your hit
total.
points.
Yeah.
At 4th level, there's no edge or focus gain.
So it's just straight
So
skill.
all you have is your skill points, which actually, my mistake, you should have 3. So yeah, keep in mind the skill costs are pretty straightforward. You're basically paying 1 point to buy a new skill at rank 0, and then it goes up from there, and you have to pay it at each level. So yeah, rank 1 would be 2 points, so it would be 3 points to go from nothing to rank 1. Rank 2 would be 3. 3 is 4. 4 is 5. And then again, you have already made a couple of attribute increases.
Yes.
I think you've increased your strength twice, have you not?
Yes.
Or is it just once?
Am I right in thinking
Nope,
it costs
twice.
1 skill point the first time, 2 the second time, 3 the third, 4 the fourth, and 5 the fifth?
Yeah.
For attributes.
So at level 4, you do have the ability, you can do a third attribute boost. That would cost 3 points. That would cost all of your skill points if you wanted to do that. Oh, you know what? That's why you still had 4 skill points, because you hadn't spent 1 last level.
Saved 1.
Yeah.
You were saving 1.
Check
That's
you
right.
out.
So yeah, you got 4 points to spend. You could do another point of strength if you wanted to keep boosting up your carry weight. Or if you're happy with where you're at there, you could spend them all on skills.
Can you boost a stat above 18?
No, in fact, if I recall correctly, you cannot go above 16 with boosts.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. That actually makes sense.
Yeah, because an 18 strength is like superhuman strength. You're born with a different body type to have that kind of strength. And an 18 intelligence is a genius level intelligence. You can't train that. You can't
Tony
learn that.
Stark.
You're either that smart or you're not.
Well, it actually doesn't say anything about going up to 18, so you can, but again, you can only do 5 over your entire career. So it's not 5 per attribute, it's 5 total. So
I've not used that yet, actually.
you can't go above 18, but you could go up to 18 if you were close to it.
Yeah. How much is it again? Go from 1 to 2 in skill.
From 1 to 2 is 3 points for a skill.
Okay, I'm gonna move my shoot up to level 2.
Now, keep in mind, if you improve your shoot, that doesn't actually improve your attack bonus.
Mhm.
But if you want to do that, you can, and that will affect if you take like Deadeye later. It'll improve your damage with.
If I'm right, I already have.
You don't just use your shoot skill to actually shoot, though. You use the shoot skill to repair a gun.
Oh yeah, you do have Deadeye. Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
use
I
But
do
yeah,
have
to
Deadeye.
repair guns and yeah.
and knowledge of guns.
So he's
all on
he's
that.
actually getting a bonus because it's adding to his damage with weapon firearms.
You
as
have
well,
the Deadeye.
so.
Deadeye's a focus.
Or
isn't it?
bows.
Yeah, it's a foci.
Yes, yeah, it's a
You've got
focus.
that.
Okay,
1.
so you still have 1 point left. You could do a new
couple-
skill at 0.
I just closed the journal. God.
Can
I
you
just-
level up
there-
your untrained?
No, untrained is not a skill.
Yeah.
That's just there to give you something to roll if you're not
When you
trained
don't
in the
have a
skill.
skill. Yeah, I was
that's
just
all.
wondering if you could level it up, then
No.
it'd be more like a kind of a jack of all trades kind of skill.
Like a jack of all trades, yeah,
Yeah.
but no.
Okay, cool.
That is a neat idea for a focus, though.
Jack of all trades.
Like,
Yeah,
improve
would
your
be.
untrained. Yeah.
What's his name? Kevin Crawford, if you're watching. Pay attention. That would be a cool focus. And you can credit me in the notes of the latest version when you do that. Not Brian, my channel.
Hey, don't I have like your top 4 videos right now? Come on.
Yeah, you do actually.
Or well, I've got 4 in the top 13.
4 in the top 13 for March, mate. Well done.
All
I'm
right.
going to pick up Sneak.
Okay,
Ooh.
Yargan, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
So, you should. Well, here, I'll just go ahead and do it for you. I don't know what you all have access to, but this is easy.
So
enough
does
for
that
me
start
to
at
do.
0?
There, it's on my sheet.
Oh, you got it. You got it. Excellent. So yeah, that starts at 0 now, and that's your last skill
There.
point. Okay.
I'm surprised you didn't even have that.
Yeah, no, Abigail didn't have it. So
No.
okay.
Now I
so
do.
everybody's good there.
Yep.
Our hit points have updated. All right. So we start off with, moments after the concussive wave of this crash hitting in the northwest. In terms of the map, if you want to take a look at it, obviously you don't know exactly how far, but you would guess several hexes away, right? Very far from anything you would consider a safe zone. Your guess is still probably somewhere within the city, though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It was like you said, like northwest, and it'd be probably
The
not in
green
more of the
space,
like
those
it
3
could be-
hexes, that green space, does that mean it's like park? Forest?
It would have been undeveloped. Well, let me rephrase.
in the middle
it would
of
have been
in the middle of one of the biggest cities in South America, there's going to be a
Yeah,
undeveloped
yeah.
space that big?
there's underdeveloped strips. Yeah.
Okay.
Now that doesn't mean there aren't any buildings or anything there. It just means on Google Maps, which is where I pulled the map from,
Doesn't have
there's
maps
not
and stuff yet.
enough
Right,
urban
okay,
area for it
okay.
to classify as an urban area.
Right, okay. So the green doesn't mean
The dark,
park or forest.
right? The dark green means a park.
Ah, okay. So
The,
yeah, so
the
this,
light
so this
green
is a park.
means
This is
less
a park.
urbanization.
This is a
yeah.
park. Right, cool, okay.
Yep. Yeah.
And the light green is just, it's not urbanized. Okay,
Correct, not urbanized. Yeah.
cool.
That actually might be where there might be some factories or something like that. Just not densely populated, Okay, so by the time this happens, I mean, with your admittedly, and by all means, you should have kind of slow investigation of the police department. You're still probably looking at mid-morning right now.
Day 12, right?
No, yes, this is still day 12, correct. I really should add a calendar to our tabletop. Maybe I'll do that next.
Nice.
But you could easily get back to the repair shop by the evening if you want to.
I think we need to.
You could also do a little light scavenging in this area, or maybe take a closer look at the bodies if you wanted to before you left, and still be able to get back to the
Okay.
repair shop.
Okay, well, in that case, I'll take responsibility for the grim job. I'll go search the dead bodies' pockets and see if anybody's got anything valuable or usable.
Okay.
I want
Does
to like go
anybody
through the
want to
room.
assist Charlemagne in that, or
I'll let him handle that. It's I'm gonna just try to look around and try to double check the rooms to see if there's anything salvageable.
Okay.
Whatever.
So I will remind you that there were a couple of locations that you didn't have ready access to. This door right here was locked.
Maps again.
This door was locked.
Sorry, Ryan, I was on the wrong map. Can you ping those doors again? Or the ones with the
I'm
circles?
circling them.
Cool, cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
So those 3 doors were all locked.
And we deliberately blocked off these doors.
The X's and the hashes, you deliberately blocked
That was
those
it.
off.
Yeah,
correct?
we blocked them.
Okay. I would say that if we wanted to, some people can check the rooms here together, and I can check out the doors right there and see if I can get the doors unlocked.
Okay, so I know when you guys were exploring the police station, you were using a torch that Kang provided. I'm gonna say that torch has now, if it has not yet, it will go out very quickly. And so if you want to take the time, you're gonna need, and if you want to stay in one group, you can use one torch. If you want to split up to do a couple of different things, you're gonna need to use a couple of different torches in the meantime.
Can I ask a quick
Because
question?
most of it is dark. You can.
Is it possible to close the front door such that it would stop people coming in, or not? Because if not, do we need someone to stand guard?
That's a good question. If you'll recall, the front doors do have bolts on them. There are bolts kind of at knee level and that you push up, so you could close them and bolt them closed.
And that's the front door.
Over here, correct.
Okay.
Yep, you got it.
So, do you want us to do that, or keep it open and have somebody on guard watching? Because, as far as I know, we've not found anywhere that we could use as a general overwatch at the moment. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, not really, unless you're kind of hanging out just in the bullpen area and left this door open. You could kind of see down most of that hallway, but with the junk wall here cutting off an easy loop, if you're concerned about somebody coming from the front, probably the best thing to do is to bolt those doors. These doors here can also be closed and bolted. So you don't necessarily have to bolt the outside doors. You could leave it ajar and make it look like, whatever. But that's up to you.
Okay, but those inside doors, the electronic locks obviously will no longer work because there's no power. Is there?
No, but there are physical bolts. Yeah, there are physical bolts. So they won't be as secure as when they have the electronic bolt closed, but there are physical bolts that look like they were probably like there initially before the electronic system was put in. They, if you give it a little shimmy, it feels a little tight, maybe a little rust going on there, but you could probably get them closed.
Okay, well, I am not the boss of this group. I'm just following along, so I will do what the group want. I led the way in as the scout, yes, but as far as coming here, that was your choice. As far as how we sort this place out, I don't know what facilities you've got elsewhere, so I will follow your instructions.
Well, if you're happy to act as the guard, if you want, are you volunteering to act as the guard? Because I'll happily give you that job if that's the case.
Yeah, certainly.
Okay, that's your job, your guard.
And you won't need a torch in the bullpen. There's plenty of light from the front door, and even the inner door is kind of like a paneled, it's paned. You can get light through it, so and there are also, if you'll recall, I gotta close this so I can show you. There are kind of window slits high up in the bullpen area where you're getting diffuse light in from. So this area is fairly well lit.
Okay.
You won't need a torch there.
Is there any way of firing out of the office? There.
That's a glass.
That has got a kind of plate glass or plexiglass or whatever screen between the lobby and the office.
So there is not well. So like there are those kind of like little things at about waist height that you would pass through, like documentation or something like that. But that's not really good for firing out of. You could definitely see and you feel fairly well protected if someone were to come in the front door and try and attack you through that, but no way to attack back, no.
Okay. What I would suggest to the others then is if I stand guard in the main door or at the main door, then I'll be able to see and hear people coming up the street. If I hear somebody coming up, I can then rush into the bullpen, close the inner doors and lock them, and let everybody know what's going on. And then we can figure out what to do. Okay? Everybody happy with that?
All right.
Yep, I'm happy with
That's
that.
fine with me.
In that case, I will free up the bolts on the inner door so they close easily, and then I will leave it open, ready for me to rush through, and then I will go I'll go and stand by the main door and just hide and listen and watch for people coming up the road.
Do you have another torch, Kang?
I got 2 more.
Okay.
What I was thinking is that the door that he has propped over here is take the wood out and open it again, so we have lighting to go out that way. And it's like, cause the lighting goes like over this way. So if we get if I open this to get like this way,
it won't help in the back, but you might if you wanted to do some searching up front. It wouldn't necessarily help over here either. It's not a bad idea for the hallway though.
Yeah, that's what I was doing, because when I get here, I was going to have the torch while we're over on this side.
I think you said there were some lights and some windows in the chief's office at the back. So open it.
Oh yeah, because you guys did go in there. You could do that as well and get a little light. So basically, what I want to ask you is this: we'll make it a systems question, as it were. Using a torch is going to make it easier for you because you'll have a ready light source with you to search and investigate. Using diffuse light from as many different open doors as you can open and not using a torch, you'll still be able to search and investigate. It might be a little bit harder. So do you want to use your resources and make things easier for you, or do you not want to use your resources and make it harder?
I'm going to use a torch when I look up the back, because there's not really much way of getting light in there, because that's where the cells are, so they don't have windows.
I have torches that people can use if they're short.
Right. I have some, but they're at home. They're back at base.
Well, I have 3 torches that people can use, okay?
Okay. Take one of them off your character sheet then, and I'll have one of those.
Okay, I'll pass one of those over.
What is Abigail going to be doing?
Chewing.
What about the other 2 that we found?
Because also Abigail and Kang are both at a situation now where their stress is maxed out or over. You both made your saves, so nobody's having a problem right now.
Yeah, so that's why he's kind of not trying to. He doesn't want to go where the bodies are because it's fucked up there. But my thought is
you've all already experienced the bodies. I'm not going to hit you with that. But I understand you from a role playing standpoint, not wanting to go deal with that. Yeah.
Well, can I suggest that Kang's not the right person to investigate that room where they took the people to do things to them? Just a suggestion.
Yeah, the only thing I was going to do is see if I can get these doors unlocked and see what's in there. That's all it was my plan to do.
You do know from what little the living child of the father told you that this room is where the people were being taken. Also from, I would say, no, I'm not going to say that unless somebody wants to try and figure it out themselves. But this room was definitely where people were being taken. This room with the doors locked is where Tim saw one of the creatures grab some kind of device and then jump up into the ceiling. This room you have no idea about.
Well, we know there's a duct. We know there's a duct route to that top room because
there would have to be.
And those things were bigger than us, so if the duct can hold their weight, it could hold ours. So there's an option.
Yep. So that's true. And you also know that there's an open duct here, which is why you blocked the door.
So somebody could go into. So someone could go into the duct in the bullpen or halfway down the corridor and make their way to that northeast room to see if there's a key inside.
Problem is light. in the duct.
Or unlock it from the inside, because there's some ways where it's like you can unlock it from the
Thing is,
inside.
if you go
Yeah,
in that
possibly.
if you go in that duct with a torch, you're going to smoke yourself out and get carbon monoxide poisoning.
Potentially. Yeah, that's definitely a concern. But before you get into working with the ductwork,
It's an air
keep in
duct,
mind,
though. The air will flow through it, surely.
it is an air duct, and Ken can pick locks. I mean, that's part of what Fix does.
Well, I had a question. The locks, the doors that are locked, are they wooden doors or are they metal? I imagine they're probably metal, it being a police station, eh?
Well, they look wooden. They probably have some kind of reinforced core.
Yeah, the axe is probably not going to do it, eh?
Not quickly.
Yeah.
You'd be here for hours.
Yeah. Yeah, imagine it's really, really thick wood and reinforced all the way through with iron.
Yeah.
Possibly. Maybe not every single door, but like important ones. Maybe. Okay, so.
Do you want to move Tim's icon to the main door?
I would
Because
pause.
that's his station.
Oh, we are no longer paused, so you can move yourself wherever you want to move.
So I'm taking a torch and I'm going up to the bodies.
So I think we'll have Craig and Ruben just kind of hang out with Tim, unless he tells them to go back in the bullpen and wait or something like that. They're still kind of shell-shocked.
No, yeah, Tim, you keep an eye on the new guys, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll keep an eye out and listen out and ask them to tell me quietly about themselves. Any of them got any knowledge about power systems or hydroponics or anything like that?
Know how to grow the good stuff.
Well, it's part of my interest. I'm looking for food sources and such.
Oliver knows a little bit about hydroponics, but not on the record. I'm not going into it on the record.
Yeah, Craig introduces himself as a musician. Ruben, on the other hand, seems, as the two of you talk, you seem to have a lot more in common with Ruben, and you get the sense that he's had a lot of similar training. For all intents and purposes, you are kind of both like a scout type, archetype person. Now, you don't know necessarily what he's done as a job or what he was doing. That's up to Brian, because it's one of his characters. But yeah,
we're gonna have to talk about me switching out characters for a wee while, because I really want to play Craig, and I want his quest to be to find a guitar. So we're gonna talk about that soon, switching out characters.
Okay, we can talk about that for sure. All right, so Abigail is gonna open that door and provide light to everybody. Is that what she was
doing? Door
doing?
and then eventually crawl up in the ductwork to try to get into here.
Be careful up there.
Oh, so you just, before seeing if Can even pop the lock, you're just gonna give it a go, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, give it something to do. Okay, so if you want to get, so you also have the opportunity, if you'll recall, there are some larger vents in the hallways, kind of at the midpoint, that you could crawl up into. But again, it's a question of like, how do you get up there? If you want to use some of the scattered furniture inside this room to kind of build something to get up on top of, you can do that. And that'll certainly make it easier for you to do, but could also be precarious. Or if you want to just climb up the wall as best as you can and try and get a hand on it in the hallway, that's up to you.
Surely drag a desk out of one of the rooms to get a leg up.
Or maybe drag a desk out.
Yeah, we'll definitely drag a desk.
Okay. So that is, I think I'm going to have that be normally I would have that be exert, but you don't have exert. So I'm going to give you a choice. You can make... No, I'm not going to give you a choice. It would be exert, so you're going to have to make an untrained check. Okay. But given that you're using a desk, I'm going to go ahead and give you a +2.
And that'll be strength?
Yes. Oh, or dexterity, whichever. Either one actually will work for this.
You've got the 18 dex.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, why not?
Come on.
Okay, so yeah, you get up into the vent pretty easily, and we'll come back to that. Kang, you're gonna pick that lock first, or try to, at any rate. Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead and give that a go. That'll be fix.
Will the toolbox
With-
give me any bonuses for that?
I mean, if you just want to pop the lock, if you just want to bust the lock open, yeah. If you want to maintain the integrity of the lock and pick it, no.
So with the toolbox, you could just take the lock off, just unscrew it. Job done.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Is I just want to get the lock off. It'd be easier that way
Okay,
instead of trying to pick
so let's go intelligence, fix, +1 for the toolbox.
it. Okay. Oh.
So, you feel like you're going to be able to get it, but it doesn't come right away.
Do you want to reroll on that,
maybe
Max?
I was rolling.
Oh
fix.
no! This is a fail forward situation. It's fine. Like it's going to take him a little bit longer, but he'll get it off.
He could
It
just try
doesn't
again.
happen
Yeah.
immediately.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so it's taken you a bit, but you don't get it quite yet. Now we'll go over to Charlemagne. You're
Yeah.
looking at the bodies. You've already seen. You guys did a bit of a thorough search initially and found that the bodies appeared to have been experimented on, right? And the living child of the father confirmed that. As you're going through pockets.
No.
You-
Before I go through
Oh,
pockets.
sorry.
Just to be on the
Sure.
safe side, before I go through the pockets, I give each one a little kick, see if it moves, and then I'll give each one a little stab as well. Just a wee poke, not enough to like just enough to break the skin, but so that if you were playing dead, it would disturb you. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like a pinprick
Yeah,
with,
that's
the,
fine.
with the end of the knife, just to see if there's any reaction
Sure.
from the body, because you can fake sleeping, you can fake dead, but you're not going to fake that doesn't hurt. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
the cordyceps,
Well, I mean-
the cordyceps hasn't had time to come into effect yet.
Just a wee pokey, just a wee prod.
So, as you know, I'll just sum it up, and we'll say that you do that for each one. But yeah, very quickly, they're all dead. It's very easy to tell that they have all unfortunately
I'd like to say a
died.
prayer for them as well.
Oh, great! I will allow that to overcome your willingness to poke them. Then I was thinking about giving you some stress for just like kick poke, but since you're saying a prayer as well, and you're just double checking, you're good. So you say a prayer over all of them? What about the dead child of the father?
Everyone
How do you
deserves.
feel about that guy?
Everyone deserves forgiveness.
Okay, fair enough.
It's Christianity.
So,
isn't it?
yeah,
I'm not
absolutely.
an expert. I'm not
So-
Christian in real life, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. It's all about forgiveness, right?
No, I think that's a great representation for Charlemagne. So as you go through, it's very apparent very quickly that, you know, aside from their clothing, the majority of their items have been taken, possibly discarded. They don't really have anything on them. However, upon searching one of the people in, you know, more predominantly red garments
Mhm.
that you have assumed to be
The red hand.
red hand,
Yeah.
you do find this. Let's open this up, show it to the players, and make everybody observers. There you go.
Nope, to David. David, take a team and check out the police substation. I know we cleared it weeks ago, but a scout said they caught movement around it on their last patrol. I'm taking some heavies to check on these folks at the repair shop. Yes, I know they've killed some of ours, but they haven't moved against us, as far as I can tell, and I don't feel like they're tied to the father. I know, one of my feelings, but I trust them more than what Dad has been spouting off about. They could just be a new band of survivors settling in. There's a lot of weird shit happening in the city this last little while, and I don't know what to expect when we go out there anymore. I don't think Dad does either. Be careful, little brother. Love you, Sandra. Oh. Now, I don't find like a wallet that identifies this guy as David, do I?
So you do actually find, and you find this on the other red hand guy as well. you do find... Well, no, you just find it on him, because just the regular common guys wouldn't have this.
Okay.
You find essentially, I mean, I want to call it a dog tag, but these are not like machined dog tags, right? You find essentially like a metal stamped thing that has his name, which is listed as David Fenn, Fenn, and his blood type, which is, we'll just say AB negative. I don't know blood types off the top of my head.
Neither do I, mate.
I don't know.
I phone my mum
You
every time.
have made it one of the rarest blood types.
I'm 42 years old, and when I need to know my blood type, I still have to ask my mum. I've got no idea.
Yeah, I don't know that I know mine off the top of my head.
I don't know mine. I don't know anybody in my family.
But yeah, it's got his name and his blood type on it. It looks like what you would expect of somebody basically making like a homemade dog tag for identification purposes. But this is the first time you've seen something like this on any of the Red Hand. What that means specifically, I don't know. But there's no indication of country of origin. There's no indication of any kind of military unit. It's just his name, his blood type, punched in a metal. Basically, it looks like somebody took like a sheet of hardened metal and used like a pick and a hammer to punch these letters into it, right? So it's not something that was machined, it was manually
engraved,
yeah.
And this letter says, I'm going to have to tell the guys, but this letter says that someone is taking some heavies to check out the folks at the repair shop. That's us.
Sarah has taken them.
Sandra, yes.
Sorry, Sandra rather.
Sandra is taking some heavies to check on the folks at the repair shop. The repair shop is us. So
agreed.
If that's...
And the Fens are obviously the leaders of the Red Hand, because you've got another note already from, is it Elder Fen or ELD Fen?
ELD Fen, yeah.
Oh,
could be short for Elder.
Where's that again?
Hunter's note.
While you're out hunting, see if you can find out anything about the group near the auto shop we saw passing through there and steer clear of the church for now, Elder Fen. And this was on the Red Hand, so maybe Sandra and David's father is the boss of the Red Hand. That's what that kind of feels like, doesn't it?
Yep.
So she's a lieutenant or whatever, eh? Because her dad's the boss.
And she's not keen on what her dad is spouting off about.
I learned recently that you know how Americans use the rank lieutenant and British people use the rank lieutenant. They're spelled the same. It's the same word.
They're spelled exactly the same.
Yeah, just pronounced
exactly.
differently.
Exactly.
I didn't know that.
We're just two nations divided. We're just two nations divided by a common language.
Yeah.
I saw a really funny thing actually, and it was an American. It was like a tweet or whatever, and they had said something about British people referring to flashlights as torches. It was like, okay, we get it. You lived through the medieval times.
That's funny. That's one that always is funny to me because it's weird sometimes playing games with you guys and saying torch, and I know in my brain you guys know what I'm talking about, but I'm always like, should I say like, I mean, not a flashlight, but an actual torch? Like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what you call a flashlight, you call a torch.
Yeah. It's like biscuits, cookies, French fries, and chips.
Biscuits, those I don't even get. I don't even want to have a conversation about those words because
don't even start me on biscuits. Don't even start me on biscuits.
It's not a biscuit.
That's so much funny.
Yeah, don't get me started on American English because I've got some bugs to bear with it.
Oh, there you do.
Let's just say that tea really divides both our nations.
Well, no, there is a lot of people that drink proper tea over here too.
Did you know that?
But we don't chuck it in harbours.
Americans don't use kettles.
You don't have a tea party in a harbour.
Americans boil their water in the microwave.
That's not true for the most part.
Is that not true?
Some people do because they want to do it quick, but like a lot of people that actually drink tea that way, they
They'll have a
use
kettle.
a tea
No,
kettle.
okay.
they have they have their tea makers. It's literally professional.
Or
where,
we
like,
just
they
have a
will
tea
heat up-
maker, right? Like a Keurig.
Yeah.
So
Anyway,
anyway, because
Enough
my
about
wife has
American
tea every
English.
morning and she has a Keurig. So, okay, so you find that. Other than that, though, like I said, really nothing on any of the bodies, aside from their clothing. Again, you do as you're going over them, as you're kind of going through pockets and shuffling clothing around, you can see marks here and there on forearms and possibly legs if you're checking for like things strapped to their boots or ankles or things like that.
Okay.
And definite indications that these people have been, in your perception, probably tortured, but you can also see like scientific precision about a lot of the marks, so that's why somebody probably said experimented. Yeah. Okay, so Abigail, you find yourself in the vents. The vents are they're different. They're big enough for you to crawl through. You shimmy through, let's say that. You're not really going to get up on hands and knees. But you're not having a hard time moving through them. You don't feel like you're compressed, but you are basically just having to slide yourself forward as you. It's a lot more leg work than arm work, we'll put it that way. There is moving around in them is fairly easy too, because there's a bit of a slickness to the inside. For lack of a better term,
Secretions from the alien's skin.
yeah, maybe some kind of a mucus or secretion. He's already seen the aliens though, so I'm not going to make a mental save for that. But it looks like he's talking to somebody, so we'll pop over to Kang real quick. Kang, eventually you pop the lock. And opening the door to this room, if you choose to do so, or you can, take your time. I don't want you to automatically trip a trap you don't want to trip.
No, so what it is that he, well, if there's a trap, what it is, he's going to kick the door and jump back in case there's something.
Yeah, no, there's nothing in there. You kick the door open, it's fine. And you basically just remove the whole like door handle lock. You couldn't just get the lock undone with your tools, so you just decided, screw it, I'm gonna take the whole thing off. So you just take off the whole like door knob plate and everything, and just it's on the floor next to the door. And yeah, so after you kick this door open, you can see inside. This appears to have been essentially a server room. You can see, on either side, it's a relatively small room, but on either side, leaving enough space for you to kind of move in between and move easily and turn around, but they're just racks for blades of servers. This would have been where the Wi-Fi and all that stuff would have been emanating from.
As a matter of interest, has it been raided? Because the note said that they've already searched this substation. So the question is, was this door locked by the aliens who came after the Red Hand searched the place, or was the door locked all along?
It's a good question. Difficult to say. What I can say is that Kang, as you peek in here, it looks like somebody has kind of gone over all this and looked for usable stuff. Like some of the server blades are on the ground, some of the wiring has been pulled out. So like this has been gone through. As to why someone would have locked it, it's difficult to say. Maybe they left something here that's not as apparent.
Question.
Or, yeah.
Are electrical components and computer components, are they valuable as scrap? Can we actually make stuff with electronics?
Well, I mean, those would be tier 3 scrap, so yeah, that's valuable. So again, if you wanted to spend some time grabbing some scrap here, you could, for sure. Which might be why they locked the door, just to, vouchsafe some scrap in the future.
Yeah, they took some stuff but left the rest. Yeah.
Right. There's only so much you can take with you at any given time, right? Especially if you're on foot like most people are these days. So that's what you find in there. And then Abigail, I don't know if you heard Brian, but as you get up into the ducts, it is mostly leg work for you to move around. It's tight, but you don't feel super cramped. You can move, but you're basically just pushing yourself by your legs. But it is slick. Like there's a slickness, like David said, a secretion almost, that is kind of slimy, kind of mucusy. And
it's alien goo.
right.
At least it's
So
not
I'm not going to
acidic.
make you take stress for this because you have seen them. You know that these
Yeah.
things were up here. But yeah, you're basically just moving through their goo. And you can very quickly if you want to. The plan is not hard to figure out. So once you're up in the ceiling, basically what you've got and what you all kind of pictured is you've got a straight kind of corridor there that probably comes around. You've got one offshoot here and here. You can definitely see like a main offshoot that goes across there.
Mhm.
And then there's probably like little bits along there, but those would be much smaller and just for airflow.
Presumably,
Yeah.
there's also an offshoot in the northwest corner.
Yeah, you would assume so.
Yeah.
That there's an offshoot there that he jumped up
So
into.
I'll definitely
And probably
go
one
for
in
this.
here as well, because if that's the
main one.
boss, no, that was the boss's office. There's bound to be AC in there, isn't there?
Oh yeah, there's probably at least a small offshoot there. Yeah.
Work our way there.
Yeah, and you're able to do that probably in the time it takes Charlemagne to search all the bodies and for Kang to pop the door off the server room. And yeah, there's a large register here that you can drop down into that room fairly easily.
Right.
There is a lot of... In this room, there's just a lot of junk, right? It looks like... For lack of a better term, it looks like a lot of stuff had been taken in here and kind of torn apart, broken down. And then you assume, based on what Tim said, assuming Tim told everybody what he saw through the window, I think you did. You saw the one
Yep,
jumping
I
up in
told
there
him.
with some kind of device. Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like one of them probably, because you feel like you're certain, like, oh, that looks like that was a part of a rifle, and that looks like that is some torn up, shredded clothing, and there's some electronic parts there that are cannibalized. Like, there's just a whole bunch of stuff that has been torn apart here, and then
Mhm.
probably used to
Made
make that
something from it.
device.
Yeah. Made something
yeah.
from it.
Yeah.
Probably a missing component for their ship or something.
Do we think
Yeah,
that the
something like
device the
that.
alien was holding was maybe the thing that it sends a signal for the ship to come and pick them up?
No, I think the ship was probably just hovering above the clouds anyway. It just came down to grab the generator and then took off.
Yeah. Who knows, right? Aliens.
Did the aliens go?
Or
in-
so you
Yeah.
think.
We don't even know if the aliens went into the ship. They could still be here.
That's fair.
Doubt it, because we know that one jumped up into the register from that room, and
Yep.
then jumped down into the bullpen and went
Oh.
out the door.
Oh, it did, didn't
I
it?
guess I should say, sorry, I forgot about this part. So as Abigail was crawling through the ducts, she would have seen right about here that there was a duct up and onto the roof,
Right.
Okay, so like to the main
which
roof.
was open, and so there's snow coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the route that they went on.
That's where they've
probably.
left.
Yeah.
But I thought we did hear them jump down from the duct into the bullpen.
You did also hear that as well. Yeah. And the doors were open when you came back.
So,
Yeah.
I've got some theories about the aliens. So I reckon what's happened is these aliens have probably been watching us for generations, and then when that gamma burst hit the Earth and wiped half of us out, they've used that as their opportunity to come down and start studying us because we were too powerful before.
No, they're the ones who caused the gamma burst.
Yeah, you think they did it, don't you?
Yeah.
That's another possible theory. They could have done it, but I think either way they've been waiting, and they've known about us for a long time, and they're using this as their excuse. This is their time to come now and learn about us when we're weak, when we can't fight them on a space level.
Is Charlemagne thinking about that kind of stuff?
No, that's Oliver. At the moment, that's Oliver theorizing. Charlemagne.
My question then is Charlemagne, in addition to searching them, is he doing like a deeper medical inspection?
He's not checking to see if they've been anally probed. No.
Okay.
He's not depantsing people to check out if they've been probed. Absolutely not.
Okay.
It's nothing to do with that. It's a case that they've had stuff taken out of them.
Charlemagne's now having a bit of a crisis of faith because, as a Christian, he believes that God created humans and everything on this earth, and that's it. Everything else out there is empty. We are the only ones because God created us.
I'm sorry, so he's a fundamentalist?
He's a bloody Catholic.
Charlemagne kind of is, yeah.
He's a Catholic, mate.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean he's a fundamentalist. Nothing in Catholic theology says that this earth is the only one with life on. As a Catholic,
God created the heavens and the earth, and the heavens is space, and he created this planet and put life on it. I don't remember my Genesis word for word, but it's a bit like that, isn't it?
But the Bible doesn't say that the other planets existed, and we know the other planets exist, and God created them.
So he's now theorizing, debating himself in his own head. Basically, he's got all these thoughts spinning around about if there are other planets and other races. Does that mean there are other gods?
More stress.
Does that mean our God is their God, or do they have their own God? He's got all these thoughts in his head now.
God created everything.
That's funny.
Therefore, he must be their God as well.
Well, yeah, that's what Christian dogma, Catholic dogma would tell you. But he's also seen the end of the world, and he's not in heaven. He wasn't one of the chosen ones after the rapture. The rapture happened, and I'm still fucking here. So I don't know what's real and what's not.
Sorry. Rapture is not Catholic theology.
No, but it's Christian.
It's not Catholic theology. You said he was Catholic.
Aye, but a Catholic is an offshoot of Christian. He's a Christian first and a Catholic second.
If he's a Catholic, the rapture is not a thing.
Is it not?
Nope.
Oh, I did not know that. I'm not a Catholic.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So, you are a Christian, not a Catholic.
No, I'm
Theology
not. Oliver's neither. Oliver's agnostic.
So,
yeah,
theology aside,
Charlemagne?
we find Charlemagne
Struggling.
He's a priest. He's struggling, yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. So Abigail finds all the stuff. If you check the door, it's easy to unlock from the side.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen to be a set of keys in the lock, is there? Just on the inside.
I don't know, but I'm going to definitely do a search on this room.
Okay, so why don't you go ahead and give me a notice check to see what you can find in a very short period of time in this room.
And intelligence, wisdom.
Since you're intently looking, we can, like, you're inspecting, we could call that intelligence if that's better for you.
Well,
either one.
I'm going
your
to AFK
choice.
for 2 minutes while you do their stuff, but I'll have the headphones on. I can still hear. I'm just not in front of the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds good. Okay. So you do manage to find on a table. I decided to make it a little bit harder, but you did it. There is a key ring sitting there underneath some junk as you just kind of shuffle some things around. And there's a couple of keys on it. Like 2 or 3 keys. You would imagine probably a master key and then specific keys. Possibly a car key.
Oh.
There is a key chain on it as well that's kind of like a little... it would have been at some point probably like a picture in like a plastic disc kind of thing, but like it looks like the disc had broken open and maybe the picture had fallen out. The disc itself is kind of scratched up and difficult to see. So it looks like this might have been somebody's personal keys.
Okay.
Shame it's not spare keys for the flying saucer.
You know,
There is a strange key. No.
I'm gonna check out this room. That's
Okay.
off
So,
outside.
I mean, that room opens easily enough, and it's just like a closet. I mean, this looks like it was probably, you would guess from its position next to the carpool, and your background as a soldier, you would guess this is probably the room where people get like their duty bags from at the beginning of shift, and you know, this might even be like the preliminary storage of like evidence and things like that. But
So is there any
there's
lock boxes?
no, like everything is either
Man.
open or empty, or like this place has been gone over.
Okay.
Again, when we wrap up this location and we do some scavenging checks, if you all want to, which I always give you for every location, you might find some additional stuff, but on the surface, there's not really anything here. But you do have some keys.
I do have some keys. And I
Okay,
car's
so back to
outside.
Kang.
So King is like, just decided, he's like, all right, cool. He knows that he will check this out later. He knows he has the door. As he comes around the doorway, he sees Abigail coming out the door that she. It's like, all right, cool. I guess you got to that, and he's gonna go to this door, and he's like,
Hey, this key might work.
yeah, I don't know. I would hate to see what he did to those people in there.
Well, let's see if we can at least unlock the lock.
Well, by this time, I am heading round this way because I don't want to show Tim that letter first because Tim's new in the group. I wanted to whenever I get a second with Abigail or Kang, I want to show them the letter.
Okay. Well, yeah, you guys can do what you want there. Also, by the way, since Tim's at the front entrance, there doesn't seem to be any activity outside. With the craft gone, the snow is no longer prevented from falling, and so plenty of snow, as normal, as per usual. I think as a scout, and as like a jungle tour kind of individual, you've probably learned to kind of keep your ear open, and maybe you were expecting, I don't know.
Well, I was expecting possibly return from the church, but more likely we'd hear noises in the distance of vehicles heading to check the crash site. If they've got any vehicles, then I would expect them to be deployed at that point, because that was a bloody great big thing.
So in response to that, then, no, you've not heard any vehicles. You've not heard vehicles for, 5 years. So
yeah, but if somebody had a SAM,
sure,
they might well have a.
Those are the people that are going to have the vehicles.
Yeah, it might not be a shoulder-mounted affair, but it might also be, right? It's difficult to say, or an emplaced affair, right? But yeah, no. I mean, you're still a decent distance off from the hospital.
Question about the missile that hit the spaceship.
Even if they did have like heavy armor, like I don't know that you'd hear it from here.
Well, the hospital, we are further away from the hospital. You know, the crash site is on the other side of the hospital from us.
Oh yeah, much further to the northwest. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they would also be heading in that direction. Well, it's difficult to say because again, your perception is like you lost sight of it. Oh, so from the hospital is technically in the same hex that you're in, and each hex on the map is roughly, I think I had it set to like 5 kilometers. But you're almost on opposite ends of the hex, so you're about 5 kilometers apart.
All right. So yes, so the hospital is roughly parallel with us compared with the crash site.
Yes. Yeah.
But looking at it, it's about 3 kilometers away. So with all the buildings, etc., in the way, I wouldn't hear normal movement. It would only be if there was some
Something loud.
motorized vehicle in the quiet
Heading
of the
in
city.
your direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick
I would
question.
hear it, but
And so yeah, nothing like that.
Quick question while we're on the subject of the unidentified flying object being hit by missiles. When we watched it get hit by missiles, did we see a missile go like it was heat seeking, or was it a straight shot?
Oh, they were straight shots.
Okay. So
could have
So,
been
I
wire
mean,
guided.
yeah.
It could have been wire guided. It could have
Could've
been
been.
a super lucky like RPG hit,
Mhm.
because the craft was still kind of low to the city. More likely it's a SAM or some kind of rocket system, right? But yeah, it didn't appear to be tracking. It was pretty much a straight line shot.
And for anybody watching who's not a weapons nerd, SAM is surface to air missile.
Surface air missile, yeah. Okay. So, nothing that you can see happening outside, no indication of any patrols or anything like that. And no return of a creature. So, the one creature that you assume had left the building earlier possibly rejoined its brethren on the craft before it headed out. Okay, so back to the three, back in the hallway. You've got some torches burning. You've got a door that's locked that people were taken into to experiment on, you think. And you've got a note. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna get this, guys. You need to see this. I found it in the pocket of one of the guys here. I think he was a red hand. And I found this in his pocket. You might want to see this, and I'll show them the letter.
Did you take his dog tags?
Let's say for this purpose I did, because they've got his name on.
Okay.
Yeah, let's say I did.
Well, I've said so. We have at least at least we have some kind of name dealing with the group. And the tag, does it look military, like a military tag?
It looks like it's an imitation of a military dog tag. So it's homemade, it's ghetto made, but it's like they're trying to look like a militia or some sort of military group. Hence a dog tag, because you would just have a paper with your shit on it if it wasn't a militarized thing.
Although again, I'll remind you, no other Red Hand soldier that you've searched at this point has had anything like that on it.
Yeah, but we think he's a lieutenant.
That's true.
I think he's a lieutenant, him and his sister. Looks like this is the son of the boss. From what I'm deducing from this, it looks like the boss is this Fen, and this David is his son, and his daughter Sandra has wrote this letter, and I'm going to point them to the bit about keeping an eye on us. That's what I'm worried about. We just took new people into the group. I'm worried about causing... I'm worried that if they join us, they're less safe than they were before. I'm having a bit of a crisis here. Are we doing the right thing by taking more people in the group? If we're marked, if we're being watched, are we not making their lives more dangerous? Yeah, it's strength in numbers, but I'm a bit worried. What do you think?
Well, it said in that letter that they don't really want to fight us because it seems like we're not part of the, like he said, the father, that creature that we dealt with before.
Yeah. I wonder if they're opposed to the father, if they're right, like if they fight with each other, if they clash. I wonder.
Well, I'm sure that he faced some of the children of the father. That's why they know him, and they probably we found that note near that church that they were at, right?
Correct.
It says, I don't feel like they are tied to the father.
Well, I'd say at some point we might see maybe try to negotiate with them, especially with these dog tags that belongs to the son. So if the body's still here, they can come back for it, and we can lock this place up well enough so they can come back here and retrieve the body if they want to, and just leave as is.
I was thinking about burning all these bodies, to be honest.
Well, I don't know if that his father would want something, at least a dog tag, to show that hey, this is what happened, and but if we leave the body in this place as it is and says they can confer about what they found, what we found, is same clues about that creature, especially when somebody from their side shot it down and it went to that location.
I don't want to leave bodies here, Kang. I want to give them some sort of funeral. And whether they were good or bad,
So-
this situation is going to bring out the worst in everybody. They deserve to go to God like anyone else.
Based on what Kang's saying, though, if you burn, especially his body, you won't have any proof that these creatures did this stuff to him.
Yeah.
It'll just be your word.
Well, what
It'll
we
be the
could
word
do
of a
is
man
wrap
of
their bodies
God.
up. Can we just wrap their bodies
Well,
up?
sure.
Charlemagne has a lot of regard for his own word. He would never tell a lie, and he thinks that everybody assumes the same about him because he's a man of God.
Yeah.
Can I act as people's intelligence?
Well, yeah, you can certainly have this conversation with Tim too. I mean, and if Tim wanted to, he could tell Ruben. Nothing has happened yet, so if you wanted to tell Ruben and Craig to keep watching the front door and run inside and bolt it closed if they see anybody, you could head deeper in to see what they're doing if they're taking a while.
Well, if you're happy for me to do that, then fine.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to leave us unguarded, but if you're happy for them to do that, then fine.
Yeah, I mean those are both PCs. If I need to make any rolls for them, I will base it off of their stats.
And
We'll
currently
consider
a
them
spare
to be
combat
active
rifle.
enough to
A
pay
hunting
attention.
rifle.
Yeah.
Okay, if one of them needs a rifle, I will give them my rifle and the and my ammunition. Okay.
Ruben has a bow, and he's like, I am perfectly happy right now. Go check
Craig?
on, see what they're doing. Craig is
Craig has
Craig
a
is
harmonica.
happy to not hold a weapon. Right?
Craig has a harmonica. He pulls his harmonica out and starts.
Yeah, you might have to
I
tell
will
him to stop.
suggest to Craig that he stops that, because in these quiet streets, that's a dead giveaway.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There we go. I got to roleplay him for half a second.
I will ask Ruben to kind of keep an eye out and do what we said.
Okay.
And stop Craig playing that harmonica.
So let's say, so when you stop Craig playing the harmonica, he pulls out a scrap of paper and a pencil and he starts writing. And he's writing song lyrics.
That's fine.
So as you
okay, and I will then go and let the others know what the current situation is.
Great. So as the three of you are talking then outside the door to, I don't know if we want to call it the examination room. The room, right? Tim comes walking around the corner. Oh, but that's not what I want to do.
Just
grab a token
graffiti
and
in
bring
us
it over.
now.
Tim comes walking around the corner, phasing through all the walls as necessary.
I'm like, how does he do that? He goes.
It is the alien mucus, you know. Makes it very easy to slip through the walls.
No, it's like I'm half plasma.
Craig.
Okay,
Tim.
I will tell them currently no signs of anything showing out the front. I've left Ruben on guard and Craig as backup.
Tim, I'm sorry. I think I've put your life in danger. Read this letter. I found it on one of the men in there, and I'll explain our previous meetings with the Red Hand. Although he was at one of the meetings with the Red Hand, that's where we met him. I'm going to say that I'm worried that you joining our group has put
Tim's
your life
not
in
had the
danger.
best relationship with the Hand to begin with, so.
Oh yeah, and I mean, the fact that they shot at a panther, for
Right.
God's sake, there's little enough wildlife survived so far. Trying to kill more of it is unconscionable.
Oh gosh, you guys better not tell Tim that you had some hunting expeditions.
Okay, I will read that and say I think this is a possible opportunity.
What do you mean, my friend?
Well, reading that, Sandra is obviously the daughter of. If this reads correctly, Dad is the guy who's in charge of the Red Hand. Yes.
Looks like it. Yeah.
Sandra doesn't trust what her dad's been spouting off about, so it sounds like he might be slightly off his rocker. And this was her brother. If she's going to your place, is your place this repair shop?
That's our place. Yeah.
If she's going there, if you can have a truce with her.
Parlay.
Yes, her brother's dead, but you were the ones who chased off the aliens who caused it, and the hospital fired the SAM at the alien ship. So it's a possibility that you might be able to get her on your side, and
Might be the first step towards peace, actually.
yes. Whether or not
Yeah,
her dad would be happy is another matter, but possible alliance.
Well, that's what I said about not burning the body, because I'm sure they would appreciate to have something to bury or burn themselves.
Well,
That's just how some people are.
If he's her brother, then she'd probably want to be there at the funeral.
Cool. Now that I've been convinced not to burn these bodies, what I would like to know, Brian, is there enough material that's like a fabric or a tarpaulin or something that I can at least cover the bodies so they're not just exposed?
I'm saying if you got to, you can probably rip up some carpet or something if it's still, you rip them up or whatever.
Oh yeah, this place isn't really the kind of place to be carpeted.
No.
Yeah, at least for his body, we'll say that you can. The interrogation rooms actually have, or at least the interior room where you would view the people through the two-way glass. So this area right here, that will have some kind of like drape, basic, like kind of drab, but something to cover up those windows. Because it looks like this room might also be sometimes used as like a meeting room or like a discussion room.
It might even be like the itchy blankets that you get when you do a night in the cell that I've heard
Oh
of.
yeah, sure. Yeah, there would definitely be some of those as well.
That I've only heard about from other people.
So yeah, you can find enough fabric to kind of wrap up definitely David's body and possibly the rest as well if you really wanted to.
I want to try and cover all their bodies, and I'm going to lie them out in a nice, like, lying down, like, in a coffin position, just out of kind of respect. I don't want them, like half all buckled with their arms all twisted around their back and stuff. I want them to just kind of lay them out neat and cover them with blankets.
Okay, well, I'll ask what's in these two rooms.
I think we were debating about opening this door, and she found a key, and see if the key can open the door, that'll be fine. If not, I would have to pry the door open.
Okay, well.
So yeah, if Abigail will have tested the door by now.
Well, finding out what those aliens were doing to people is probably a good thing for talking to Sandra.
So yeah, if Abigail wants to test the door, eventually you can find the key that works, and that's perfectly fine. Whether or not you want to open it and go in, that's up to all of you.
I think Brian.
Oh, the hell! It's aliens, and those bastards are responsible for everything. I'm going in.
I think he has.
Brian, you okay over there?
Brian has definitely nodded off.
Oh yeah.
You all good, Brian?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so.
You nod off, mate.
Okay.
Coffee.
You need a coffee. Should we take a break and you
No
can make a
worries.
coffee, mate?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Get a
because I need a
coffee
drink
break.
too.
Yeah, let's take a 5-minute break and we'll get Brian a coffee because he's fallen asleep, the old man. And we're back for part 2. Let's go.
So, when we left off, I believe we were discussing whether or not we were going to open this door.
Mm-hmm.
No, we were discussing opening the door so I could check what those blasted aliens have been doing.
Right.
Let's do it. Let's pop the door open. Kang, do your thing.
Abigail,
right.
why not use those keys?
Well-
Oh yeah, we have keys.
I have keys.
Yeah.
So let's see if any of these keys work on the lock.
Make a luck save for me.
A luck save? Oh no.
Yeah, just for funsies.
Just for funsies.
Just for funsies, except it doesn't.
Yeah, just to see whether you break the key off in the lock and Kang has to remove it.
There we go.
Yeah, it's gonna get removed anyways.
Oh, I came off the 18.
Okay.
Horribly.
So the first key you try doesn't work, but then the second key that you put in, it unlocks it. I just wanted to see if you got it on the first go.
Okay.
So, yeah, you unlock the door, and
Can I borrow that
are you
torch,
just gonna
please?
open it, or
Sure,
Oh, yep.
I'll hand you the
whoever
torch.
wants to have a torch? Okay.
I will suggest people who don't want to look through the door step to one side, and then I will open the door and look in.
I'll come in
Well,
with
I'm
you
to the
with
side,
torch.
so I'm staying put.
I'll just come in with you.
Yeah, I'm
with
gonna
the
stay right
torch.
here.
I'll hold the torch so you have 2 hands free, mate.
Okay.
So, opening the door, and I've telegraphed this, so if you look, that's on you. As you open the door, and it looks like Charlemagne steps into the room. Is Tim also going to step into the room?
Well,
With opening the
Charlemagne
door?
said he was.
I'll go in first
Charlemagne
because
was
I've got the
opening the
torch.
door.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So as you step into the room, it is
A charnel house?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to use the key phrase, but that's it right there. It's a charnel house. So
I was expecting it.
Maybe not as bad as one normally thinks of the term charnel house. It's not like there are bits of body everywhere, right? But
Charnel house is a term I do not know, by the way.
Slaughterhouse, abattoir, a room of blood and horrors.
Hickman's
right?
Gallery in Fallout 4.
Pretty much, right?
Yep, pretty much. Yep.
So this is what would have likely been the med station of the police substation. It looks like there are some additions. It looks like someone, maybe the creatures from somewhere, got their hands on some higher end equipment. There is a like a portable X-ray device here with no indication of shielding anywhere. There is a single table on which a body still rests. Bare, naked, no clothing, no sheet, just a dead body lying there. It is currently, the body is opened, as you would normally see. Well, as Charlemagne might have some experience with his level of healing. You know, maybe he wasn't a doctor himself, but he's had some study, perhaps, of textbooks. Maybe some deep charnal fixation, as it were. I don't know what led him into learning more about healing, but he's seen pictures of autopsies and bodies being opened and things like that, and some of the texts that he's looked at. And this looks similar, although a little bit different. It's like the cuts are just a little off. The incisions, or maybe they're too long or too short, or maybe they're made in a strange pattern compared to what most, I'll say, human medical people would do it as.
Made by someone who
off.
couldn't care less about the health and welfare of what they're treating.
Well, there's still precision.
Oh, there's precision,
but
I'm expecting to see, we're cutting this open to get this organ, and so we will cut more than is necessary. Normal medical treatment, you only cut the minimum.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of that, but also a little bit of unfamiliarity.
Yeah, and a normal human doctor will cut in a certain way. He'll cut a vertical line down here, or a horizontal line here, etc., etc. Whereas these are like random diagonal lines or whatever.
Exactly.
But these are aliens.
Right. So the head case of the corpse, the cadaver, is opened. There is a bone saw laying on a kind of rollable table there, and the head case has been just completely sawn off and opened. The brain is missing. Oh, my mistake. As you're looking around, the brain isn't missing. Most of it's on the floor.
Oh.
As is most of the blood from this body, and who knows how many other bodies have come through this room. Most of it is there might be a few tacky parts as you step around, but most of it is old blood, right? So like there doesn't appear to have been the kind of drainage in this room that maybe would exist in like a surgery or something like this. This was clearly, like I said, just a med station, not an operating theater.
Like a nurse's office.
But the creatures have clearly turned it into that. And yes, while the majority of the brain is on the floor, you see it just kind of maybe just idly kicked under the table after having been removed. It looks like it's not entirely there. It's difficult to say what's missing without a check. But yeah, so that's the state. I'm going to have Tim and Charlemagne make a mental save.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
Yeah, that's why I stay back here. I'm good.
Good luck, Tim.
Int or whiz or charisma.
You don't add anything on a save.
You just
Okay.
roll it. Yeah. Yeah, your stats are already figured into your saves.
Come on,
The-
nice
the-
roll.
Oh,
Dave.
double 17s.
Nice.
Nice.
Asking for the modifiers just if you have. There are a few foci in the game that give you a modifier. To like, I think there's one that
Yeah.
gives you a benefit to resisting poison and things like that.
I look around the room. Yeah, it's pretty much what I expected.
What you expected.
Bloody aliens!
So, yeah, is there anything you want to look at or get into in this
I want to
room?
look at the body, and I'm going to go up to the open chest cavity. Is there any organs missing?
So in this particular body, it looks like there are no organs missing. They have been shuffled about. It looks like somebody has just been kind of
Taking them out and putting them back in.
rummaging. Maybe, or maybe just moving them to the side, maybe looking for something.
I read something very interesting recently. Apparently, when you have an operation and they take your organs out and they put them back in, they don't put them back in exactly where they were, because they'll move
Yeah, they
around. And
can't.
they move around and
Yeah.
find their own way back to where they're supposed to be.
Yeah,
The human body is amazing, eh?
it's weird, yeah.
That's an awesome fact. Like I just read recently. I like that one.
So, just to be clear, though, before we go deeper in this, Kang and Abigail are not looking into the room. Am I correct? in that?
Nope.
Look at
Okay,
Brian.
no, that's fair.
No.
I just wanted to make sure. Okay.
No.
Does
Seen enough already.
Charlemagne or Tim think to close the door behind them?
Yeah.
Maybe after they step in?
Not slam it, like close it,
But
in
just
case it's got-
kinda, yeah.
In case it's got some lock on it, but
Push it. To,
leave it,
to
leave it slightly.
almost
Sure.
closed. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
I will, having seen that the head's been cut open and there's a brain on the floor. I will posit. Were they trying to turn the body roboticized or something? And in other words, has the brain been cut out carefully so that something can be attached to the spinal cord, or
The fact
something, or
it's
has it
just-
been chopped out?
Kicked under the table feels like it's just been pulled out. But... Did we
So-
not see something in one of the bodies before that was foreign? Or am I making that up?
Yeah, all of the bodies, well, some of the bodies look like they might have had something placed in them. Yes, you saw that before. And in fact, as you're rooting through the chest cavity in this particular cadaver, you do see a couple of like, oh, that's weird. It does look like some kind of like metallic thing.
Oh, I'll pull that right out to look at it.
Okay. So we'll go with Tim first. So Tim, you're picking up the brain or just getting down to look at the brain? What do you want to do with it? You're muted.
You don't push the talk.
David,
number.
you're muted.
Oh, sorry. There must be a tray or something, so I will kind of reach
Sure.
and slide it out, and then
Yep.
put it underneath and scoop it up, and then. Ooh.
Okay.
Is this
So-
all here, Charlemagne?
Sorry?
Okay. He's asking if the brain is all there. So
Oh, I'm no expert, Tim, but I feel like there is a bit missing, don't I? It's not quite all there.
does Tim? Well, let me ask. Since you're both looking at it, does Tim have medicine?
No,
Or
I've
sorry,
got heal. I've
heal.
got heal.
So what I want you to do is I want you to make a heal check, because you're going to assist Charlemagne. This is a particularly difficult check, and I want to get as high as we possibly can with it.
So he's rolling first.
Okay.
So he's rolling first to see if he gives you a bonus.
And which attribute?
That'll be with intelligence or wisdom, whichever is higher for you.
Okie doke.
Oh, look at that roll,
Very good.
Dave. Come on.
So, Charlemagne can make a heal test with a +1 bonus for the assistance from Tim. And again, intelligence or wisdom,
Yeah,
whichever is higher.
wisdom. My wisdom's highest. And I get the extra dice on heal
Okay.
checks because of my focus or edge. Don't remember which one.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
when I
that's your
roll
focus.
heal Dave, it's an edge or a focus. I roll 3 dice and pick the best 2. I think it's healer. I think I've got a thing called healer.
Great.
It's healer. So the 12 is definitely enough to get there. With the 12 difficulty, the two of you are kind of just looking at this brain. The brain does look like it has been excised from the body carefully. So the brain stem essentially has been severed just below one of the major nerve clusters. It looks like a very fine cut. The brain itself looks largely intact until one of you decides, whichever is up to you, to dig into it a little bit. Maybe you grab some nearby utensils, maybe you don't do it with your hands, but you find that some of the interior structures of the brain have actually been removed. And in fact, with the 12...
So has it been sliced so that they can get at it, or has it been kind of withdrawn? Have they taken a punch out sort of thing, or just cut it open and then cut a piece out?
Yeah, basically just kind of cut a piece out, right? And with the 12, it looks like a majority of the corpus callosum structure, I believe I'm pronouncing it correctly, corpus callosum structure, the structure that basically connects both hemispheres of your brain, has the majority of that structure has been removed.
Okay.
What that means, difficult to say.
And there's no sign of it. There's no sign of the missing piece.
Oh, no. It looks like they removed whatever those structures were, whatever the majority of that structure was, as best as you can tell from your roll, which is pretty darn good.
Okay.
And then effectively dropped the brain because they didn't need the rest of it. And that's kind of what the rest of the body looked like, is they were pulling out organs and looking at them and just dropping them and leaving them in. I will note that none of the other bodies in the cells appeared to have any incision or interaction with any part of the head and or brain. This is the first time that you've seen that.
Yeah, understood. Thinking back to seeing that alien pick up
With the device.
the object, thinking about it, did it look as though there was a section of it which might have been a container for the brain?
I mean, yeah, so the entirety of the device itself could have potentially been a container for something like that. Yeah, it could have been some kind of, to put it in, those kinds of terms, some kind of specimen container, maybe. Yeah,
And
could be.
compare it, how does the blood on this body compare with the blood on the other bodies? In other words, how recent was this done?
Oh, this is probably where any of the tacky blood on the floor is coming from. It looks like this was probably done within the past day or so, or maybe 2 days, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
This
no,
body
this
is at that stage where it's probably only been deceased for a couple of days.
So Charlemagne could probably tell how long someone has been dead because he's
Right.
does funerals. He's a priest. He does funerals. He goes to the
Right.
house and talks to the wife when the husband's still dead, lying in the bed. He knows what a
And
body
you go
looks
to the
like after
funeral
one
parlour,
day.
blah, blah,
yeah,
blah,
yeah.
blah.
He goes to the funeral parlour,
Yeah.
he buries them. So he knows everything from death right up to burial. I know what a body looks like
Sure.
and how many days.
And at this point, I can suddenly stop and turn to Charlemagne and say, how long ago did David die?
Okay, so how fresh was David's corpse?
Well, or any of the Red Hand ones, because that note was handed to David before he and those Red Hand came here, and Sandra had already been said in that note she had heavies and was going to go and check your auto shop.
Yeah, so we can get an idea. If we know his
So-
body's been here 3 days, we know that that letter was written at least 3 days ago.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
more to the point, it implies she may well be there now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that's
Or
definitely
that's the
what
group we
you're.
encountered.
Well,
It could be that.
We didn't
Well,
shoot any. We didn't kill any
the-
women in that encounter, though, did we?
the
No.
leader was not a woman, and those heavies
Correct.
were with her. It said in that note.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we haven't
So
come across any women in our fights.
again, I'll just give it to you because you rolled fantastic on that heal check. We'll just tie that all in together. The Red Hand bodies, there were only a couple, so who knows what happened to the rest of David's team if he had one. But the Red Hand bodies have only been here for about 3 days.
Okay. Dead for 3 days.
Or sorry, dead for 3 days, right? So it's possible. I mean, it's highly likely that she is probably at your place now, and may have been yesterday as well, based on travel times, depending upon whether or not she lit out immediately, whether or not they're just watching you. It's difficult to say.
I think we need to get back ASAP.
I think we could do with. Have you got find any cloth? Any white cloth?
Yeah, there's probably some leftover scraps of like the. Oh, well, this is a med center. Like, yeah, you could probably find some white bandages, maybe a
Right.
white pillow cloth or something in one of the cabinets that wasn't used. Yeah.
I suggest we kind of have a big white blanket or something with a big Sandra written on it, and just carry it with us, so that if they are
interesting.
watching the place, it's both a parley and a we know the name of your boss sort of thing.
So you want to make a flag?
Yeah, I
Wow.
want to make
Yeah.
I want to make a flag.
All right.
Okay.
You're gonna paint it in blood.
Not bloody likely. Can I have a bit more respect from the dead, Father?
That was Oliver that made that. That was Oliver that made that joke. That was not Father Charlemagne.
And that was me that had the sarcastic comment.
Okay. So,
But that's my suggestion, that we go back, as soon as. We can always come back here and salvage the place later, but we already know that the Red Hand have been through here.
correct. So you're probably not going to find a whole lot. But what I will say is that the most recent update of the text is available to you. 0.25 is the current edition. And so he's put in some more general, like, scavenging rules that I'm going to adopt. Let me find them.
So on this banner, Tim, what are you gonna write? You're gonna write Sandra Parley or something.
No, just a big white towel with Sandra on. The white towel is universal for parley.
Yeah.
Sandra
Yeah.
is, it hopefully enough to get people to think twice. Oh, they got a white flag. Well, we shoot white flags. Hang on, they got a white flag with Sandra's name on it.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, so if they are watching us, which they likely are,
Yeah.
they're going to then know that we know that they're watching us.
Right.
Not just that we know that they're watching us, but that we
know they're
are
after
under a
us.
white flag. No,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
under a white flag. But
Yeah.
that's my suggestion. It's your hideout.
No, I think you're spot on. I think if we can show this Sandra that we want to parley, that might stop them from just instantly attacking us, shooting us from, you know, sniping us from the woods and we don't even get a chance to fight back, basically. That might prevent that. Push to talk,
Okay,
Dave.
so
I will start looking for stuff to do that with.
Okay.
well, in doing so, why don't we get a quick kind of search roll from everybody for that? You can use it'll be intelligence because you are searching intently.
Survive?
And then we'll go either survive or notice, whichever is better for you.
Oh, my notice is better. Did
Yeah,
you say
depending on your
intelligence?
rolls. Yeah, it will be intelligence, though. You know what? I'll be nice. I'll let you use wisdom, too, just in case you just luck upon something.
Alright, well you can add +1 to that roll and make it an 8 then.
Okay, so
that
is
was
this a
the
foraging?
intelligence.
Is this a foraging skill check, by the way?
It will count as a foraging skill check, so you can re-roll.
A foraging party you are with rolls all foraging skill checks results twice and takes the better roll. So, I mean,
So
okay.
we all get to re-roll.
well, do we
Oh,
do
but
it
that's-
one for the party?
No, so it'll just be for you because you're each making an individual check. If you were foraging as a party, then you would re-roll.
Okay.
But I'll let
Okay.
you use that ability to re-roll your roll. This is going to be an individual roll for each person, though.
Mine's is an
Okay,
8.
so it's a survive on what?
Intelligence or wisdom, whichever is better for you.
Both the same.
I have the same problem.
My wisdom is definitely better than my intelligence.
And I will re-roll that as well.
Sure.
Catting with a 12. There we go.
11. Okay. So Abigail with a 7. With that, you're basically just going to be able to find some. I'm not going to say there's a lot of food here, so we're going to say you're going to find some scrap. It's up to you whether or not you pick it up. You guys got to think about what you're able to carry right now. I did double check the rules. If you do want to overload yourself, you can do so, right? So you can carry up to 2 more or 4 more readied or stowed. So 2 more readied, 4 more stowed. And your movement is cut by 30%. And then you can carry 2 and 4 more again, readied and stowed, for a total of 4 more or up to 8 more, and move at half of your speed. If that makes sense.
I've got
Yeah,
space
So
to
you
carry.
can't.
I've got
What's
9.
that?
I've got 9 spaces in my inventory and my stowed, so I can carry up to 9
Right,
things
so
before I'm encumbered.
Some of you have
Yeah,
stuff
I've
to
got
carry.
like
So
4, so yeah, I'll see how much scrap I find.
sure. So why don't you roll a d4? I'm going to handle each of you real quick individually. Why don't you roll a d4 to see how much scrap you find? Oh,
1.
just 1. So then another d4 to see what level it is. It'll be a d4 minus 1 technically. So 2. So you find 1 tech level 2 scrap,
Okay.
which should be in the item list that you have access to.
I'll have a look here. No.
So I find 4.
Oh no, you're going to find different stuff.
Oh right, fine.
Based
Well,
on your rolls. First of all, with Tim, you were looking specifically to make stuff to make a flag with.
correct.
You can find that with an 11, or you can decide to take something else. That's up to you.
No. I was specifically looking for something that would stand out. So it's something
Okay.
to carry the banner, something to hold it out. So in other words, a
Sure.
crosspiece, so it's not just dangling, and something to write on it. And that might
So-
just be carbon black from a torch or something.
No, actually, you do find 2 things. Since you're intently looking for something specific, you find a vacuum seal wrapped sheet, white bed sheet, and you find a can of blue spray paint
Oh, excellent.
that is still like plastic sealed, right? So you will easily be able to make your flag and also potentially have a can of spray paint for the future.
Okay.
I should probably
and,
write these down.
and I shall get some timber to make a standard and a cross piece just to hold it out so that it's
Yeah,
obvious.
plenty of stuff around here to
And when
do
you
that
nail
with.
the cross piece to the first piece, Charlemagne gets a little bit PTSD.
What are we
Oh,
doing
God.
with that?
Yeah, what we do with that? Last time I saw one of them, they killed my hero.
Oh yeah, right. Okay, so that is Tim. Then we got Ken got a 12. Charlemagne got an 8. So, we'll do Charlemagne first. Oliver, what are you looking for? Are you looking for anything in specific, or?
I don't think I'm looking for anything specific here. I think I'm just doing a quick scan for anything useful.
Okay, roll a d12 for me.
Okay.
I will
And tell me
suggest
what you
that
got, because I'm looking at something else.
6.
6. Oh. So you find a pack of 4 Type A batteries.
Oh.
Ooh. Nice.
A batteries, did you say?
Type A batteries, yes.
Oh, I'll also suggest if any of those things you found had been stuck inside the bodies, take those. That's also evidence and proof. And somebody might know what they are.
What are the things inside the bodies? I was going to ask you about that, actually.
So the one that you find inside the cadaver that's in the med center room is, it just looks like a hunk of metal to you, right? It's probably, well, hunk is maybe a large sounding word. It's maybe about the size of your first thumb knuckle.
Okay.
So like a bead,
A large ball
not a
bearing.
tiny bead, but like a large, yeah, of some kind of metal. It's not smooth, it's textured, but it's not like pitted.
Like graphite.
Beyond that, it's hard to say. Yeah, but it's not rubbing off, like it feels hard. So yeah, we'll just call that an alien metal chunk that you have. If you wanted to take any out of the other bodies, you're gonna have to cut the bodies open, because you could kind of
No, I'm just going to
feel where they are,
Nah,
like
just take it out with
palpitating. But
Well,
Okay.
no, leave them in there as evidence.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm going to take this one
Gotcha.
out of this guy's body and leave the other ones in.
the body that's already open, you
Yeah.
wanted to grab that one.
Yeah, I'm taking that one out.
Okay. So, and you've got a pack of 4 Type A batteries.
As a matter of interest, Ruben and Craig presumably have space in their inventories because they had most of their stuff taken, didn't they? Or has it been found?
No, they actually still had all their stuff on them. So Ruben is pretty loaded down, actually. Craig, I think, could possibly carry a few things. Oh no, Craig's pretty loaded down too with his stuff. And Ruben's got some space where he can literally just carry some stuff and is ready, but neither of them are overburdened. We'll put it that way.
Okay. Well, I don't know where this auto repair shop is, so I don't know how much people can weigh themselves down and still make it.
I've got some space to carry some stuff.
Yeah, and it's about a half a
carry
day,
like
so
3 more things.
Craig, or Craig for all our non-American viewers, is going to... He's going to be frantically running around this police station trying to find a guitar that's not there.
it sounds the same to me every time you say it. Craig.
It's a bugbear because it's my brother's name in real life, and every time I hear it on American TV, they're saying it wrong. Right, so
Okay.
Greg is Greg. Craig is Craig. Craig does not rhyme with Greg. It's not Greg. It's Greg.
Greg and Craig.
It's just so weird, man. I'm
And
glad
Greg,
my
of
brother.
course, isn't Greg, of course, isn't Grieg.
I'm glad my brother doesn't walk.
No, he's not Greek. Okay. So yeah, Type 4 Type A batteries.
Sweet.
Is Kang looking for anything in particular? Because you did well enough, you're going to find 2 things, potentially.
I want to see if I can find, like, I would hate to say it, maybe like a car battery or something that can probably, because, I know the truck's good, but all is missing is a battery. Like,
And
big
gas.
battery for. Well, yeah, that's another thing. But at least it better be at least something we could have, and we could always use it for something else.
Well, we can come back and have a look out in the car park.
Oh no, that's what I was planning to do. Is like I was planning to check that out.
So you're not going to find anything like that inside.
We haven't got time. We haven't got time to do it outside because we have to dig out the back door and then dig out the vehicles.
Dig out the vehicles, yeah.
Given we've got to get back to your place, I don't think there's going to be time.
So if you want something power generation related inside, you're probably going to find something like batteries or maybe a battery charger, which you already have. Like, what are some? So here's basically the list that I had Oliver roll on: cooking, construction, mechanical, medical, knowledge, power generation, handcrafts, farming, entertainment, communications, shelter, and computing.
Ooh. I'm gonna say probably something mechanical.
Mechanical. Okay, so probably the best that you're gonna find. Oh, okay. Okay. Oh. So you have two. You have two. Do you want to find two mechanical things, or do you want to find a mechanical thing and something else?
I want to find a mechanical thing and something else.
You might find a UPS in the server room, and we haven't checked the other rooms down that corridor, which might have the mechanicals. Or you could go up on the roof and see what's up in the mechanical stuff on the roof.
So why don't you tell you what? I'll let you have the mechanical since you rolled a 12, but I want you to roll a d12 to see what the second thing is.
Oh, absolutely.
And tell me what you got.
An 11.
11. That'd be shelter. Okay, so you find a... Okay, let's deal with the mechanical first. So you find a manual, a technical manual about firearms.
Ooh.
And you feel like with this manual and with enough tier 3 scraps and some tools, which you also have, you have a tier 3 toolkit.
Machine gun.
You can probably work on maybe not a machine gun turret, but you think you'll be able to kind of backwards engineer some scrap firearms as it were. You may be able to construct and possibly even improve upon
pipe guns,
like a rifle. Yeah, essentially pipe guns. A rifle, a pistol, a shotgun.
Well, I know the scrapsmith will work with that. That's the one that took, because that allows me to start like making stuff, and it's a lot of cool effects on it. So this basically with my scrapsmith foci, this helps, and I stick it in my backpack. I'm like, all right, this is gonna help later.
Would he be able to recondition them to improve the condition of a weapon? So where it's worn, improve it to the next one.
And repair existing weapons, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Repair existing weapons, reload ammunition or craft ammunition with the right tools. Reloading probably is more important at this point, because I would imagine, as much as you can, we'll just say that you guys are kind of like holding onto your brass as often as you can with your weapon.
Oh yeah.
Because you'll need to use that since it can't really be machined anymore.
So is that like a plus every time he rolls for something like that then, if he's got the book?
Well, no, it just gives him the opportunity. Like, it basically, because he has the manual and the right skills, he now has the ability to craft those things. He still has to make crafting checks. But without a manual, without anything to go on, it would have been extremely difficult to do so. This allows him to do so.
I said this had been like a gun nut. This like dude has like an encyclopedia, like an old one where it's like the older type guns. I was like,
yep.
Oh, you see his eyes. He just lifts up his goggles. He's like, well, all right. And he sits there. He's like, I have a few ideas. I can use this, and he just sticks it in his backpack.
Now, for the 11, which is shelter, I think what I will say you find there is a packed up cooking stove, portable cooking
Ooh.
stove.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah.
With still a few canisters of the fuel that you would use to fuel it.
Okay.
We'll say, roll a d6 for me.
Okay. I was about to say, it's like, I could roll something to see how many canisters I got.
Do you want to re-roll on that?
Yeah,
I
I'll
can
do
do
a
it
reroll on
once
that.
per session per character, and we're more than halfway into the session. Be a shame.
What did he roll a 1?
They rolled a 2.
I rolled a 2. There's a better chance to see if
You
it rolls at least
got to
very
take
high.
the second roll.
There you go. He's doubled it.
4.
Yeah,
I'll take the 4.
Okay.
Take the 4.
4 fuel canisters.
Now's when the GM tells you that you've used 4 out of your 6, so you've got 2 left.
4 of the 6 have been used, right? Okay. So that is what you find. And I've looked at your sheets. You guys have enough space to kind of carry all this. Obviously, some of these items I'm going to have to add in to the system. But yeah, so you've got all that stuff. Assuming that you're moving quickly to head out. Yeah, so I guess we can head back towards home.
Well, if anything, we know there's enough scrap here. We can come back later for like even 0 level, like 0 and 1 level scrap for like burning wood and stuff. Because there's enough
you could
stuff
potentially, you could potentially send some people from your settlement here to do some scrap.
Oh, yeah.
To get some.
Yeah.
This is a decent scrap site.
And
Think
it's-
about it that way.
Tim going to hold his flag up, or would you like me to do that, or?
No, I'm happy to hold it up.
Okay.
What are you holding up and on? It's like, do you have a stick or something?
Oh yeah, he just got some wood.
I
to craft
got
like
a standard with a cross piece and this sheet
Yeah.
dangling from it and strapped to it with kind of Sandra sprayed on in blue on both sides.
Just the name Sandra.
Okay.
Just the name Sandra.
I like it.
Are you gonna be like shouldering this and holding it up the
Yep,
whole
yep.
way back?
Why not?
Okay, fair enough.
Well, I mean, if it's heavy and it's going to be strenuous, then we'll take turns. I don't want you to get knackered from it.
I guess I could say something about it being your cross to bear, but
Hey.
Yeah, but he'd be kind of like this. He's like, oh god.
Okay, so again, you, even with taking some time to look around and to grab some things together, you could probably make it back to the repair shop by it's probably dusk. The sun is probably setting.
Yes, I'd like it to be while there's still enough light in the sky for them to be able to
Sure,
see
To
what I'm
read it.
carrying.
Yeah.
Well, and on a white bed sheet and spray painted in blue, like that should stand out even as the sun starts to dip. It'll be noticeable, right?
Yeah.
So, how do you want to approach the auto repair shop? From the front, from the back, from one of the sides? Like, obviously you don't know where Sandra and her people might be.
Well, I mean,
what-
if they tell me where it is, can we figure out where might be a convenient spot for them to scout the place?
I was thinking of looking at it from a point of elevation. Is there anywhere near it where there's a point of elevation where
I
we
mean,
can get like
you
a
both
view
have
around it?
scoped weapons. You both have scoped weapons, so
you-
you probably have the distance.
The combat rifle doesn't have a scope on it.
Hunting right
Yeah.
The hunting rifle probably has a decent scope on it, but it's not like an amazing thing. But if you want to take the time, yes, you can look around. Obviously you have scouted your hex, so it won't take quite as much time. But you can find a nearby place where you can kind of get an elevated view on the auto repair shop.
That's what I would like to do. Get an elevated view.
But the sun is setting, and so you're running out of time for the standard gambit to work. It's a good idea, but like soon it will be pitch dark.
Well, I mean, if you're happy to tell me where this place is, then I could walk around it while you keep an eye out for who's watching.
So I want to get an elevated view so that we can see down onto the roof, because we've got a guard station on the roof basically being built. So
Yeah.
there should be somebody on the roof at all times unless we've been compromised. So if I see
Ah.
somebody on the roof patrolling, I know we've not been compromised.
Right. What's your person on
be-
the roof going to do if I appear and start walking around it carrying a standard saying Sandra?
They might shoot you because they don't know you. So you should probably stick with
Right.
us.
Can I have one of the rest of you to walk with me, please?
Abigail will walk with you.
Okay, there
Oh,
you go.
thank you,
Abigail,
thank
go with you.
Yeah.
So Abigail and Tim are going to approach the front.
Well, approach the front and then walk around, so
And
all
walk
the
around.
sides.
Do
Yes.
Okay, and just okay. So Kang and Charlemagne are going to take an elevated position within firing range.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
So Kang's pistol isn't going to have quite the range that one of those rifles that Tim is carrying does. Does Tim want to
Does
give
Tim
Kang a rifle?
Yeah. If Kang wants the rifle, he can have the rifle.
Yeah, it's like I would just basically this right there. I'll just get just a couple rounds just to, just in case.
Just take it with the bag.
Okay, so you two. Well, Tim has an extra rifle, and then
Yes.
however many rounds you want to give Kang, Tim.
Yeah, I'll give him half the rounds, so that I've got 12 rounds, so he can have 6 rounds.
Okay.
No need. I'll give him 11 of the 23 in my mag, and then me and him have got 11.
So you're
going
going to take the time to pop out 11 of your mag? Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
So I'll have 12, he'll have 11, and you can keep your 12. No,
Okay, fair enough.
Better than half in your
Okay,
12.
so you've got one of the 2 rifles I was carrying. That's fine.
No, I've already got my own combat rifle.
Yeah,
Yes, I
he has-
know,
he-
but Kang
Kang
does.
has, yeah.
Oh no. I'm more like been just knife and gun in hand. It's just like I don't like
Okay, so
Oh, take the long range weapon.
let me swap some of that stuff over. So
I will keep an eye out for tracks, by the way, as well. There's a puma
'cause
on the
I know-
loose.
I know Abigail has a shotgun, so that should be okay.
Oh yeah.
So both of the rifles, that Tim was carrying were already loaded with 6 rounds.
Yeah.
So there should be one of those on your sheet now, Kang.
Okay. Should we move to the other map or just stay where we're at?
We'll move to the other map in a second.
Okay.
And I'm also moving some rifle rounds to your sheet for Kang
Okay.
and setting them to 11
I've taken them off my sheet.
instead of 12. You've already taken them
Is-
off? Okay.
Okay.
And I have deleted the extra
that
rifle from
one.
Tim's sheet.
Okay.
So make sure you move things around where you need them to be. You can't reload if they're not in your ready to gear. Keep that in mind.
Can't
You
use
can
it if
be
it's not
over
moved.
on your ready gear. It just means you're going to move slower. So yeah. Okay. So you guys find an elevated location. Actually, you guys don't really have a way to communicate with each other.
No, we don't.
So, what I'm gonna do instead is let's have. So obviously, you all know what you want to do as a plan,
Mhm.
but in order to get to the elevated position, by the time that Tim and Abigail are approaching the front of the auto repair shop, I want to get a survive or exert or some kind of roll from Charlemagne and Kang to climb to find and climb to the good location.
Alright, so we could use survive or notice.
No, exert if you have it.
I don't have
I have
exert.
exert.
Exert is like moving around, climbing,
I
stuff
don't have
like
exert, but I have notice. Does that help us find a spot?
that. No, survive.
Survive then. So that's a 0 for me. Okay. Can I roll it on wisdom?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool.
Trying to figure out.
Can't re-roll yourself.
No.
Kang. You have
Yeah.
survive?
I have survive, and I'm gonna do wisdom with that one.
Okay.
Good luck, because you've used your reroll.
Yeah, he already has.
Oh,
okay. So yeah, you guys find a spot and get there in time, just in time to see Tim and Abigail approaching the front doors of the auto repair shop.
Okay. Can we tell them
Now,
like a quick thing?
The
like
front
a normal...
rather than the front doors, because we're going to be walking around.
Right. The front is also where the front doors are, but yes, the front. So the south, in other words, on this particular map. Oh, I don't have Tim on this map.
No, you
Because
don't.
he hasn't been here yet.
Ah, that's because
So-
I'm sneaky.
Here's Tim.
Yeah, I'm just saying
And
that.
I
Yeah,
also
that'd be...
need...
Just put us in the corner to signify that we're off the map.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's fine. Like we're at that point. Well, I was gonna say, for them, just the normal
I
thing is like
assume
everything's
Craig
good. Is up.
and Ruben are also probably with you two.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably right there. It's like I give one of them. It's like do one of them have a gun or no?
Ruben has a bow.
Ruben has a bow.
Okay, it's
That's
like
it.
All right,
Every
cool,
other
that's
every other one of Oliver's characters rolled a shotgun, but Craig did that.
I did. I rolled shotgun and flew at four of my characters.
Okay, so as you guys are approaching the front and as you guys are in your elevated position, you can see in the elevated position, we'll just randomly say that Sophia is actually up. In the elevated position,
On the roof.
you can see her, on the roof.
Nice.
She's got her crossbow and she's kind of sweeping, and you can kind of see when she sees Abigail and Tim approaching the front doors. And you probably also catch, let's say, Rosie and Fallout walking around the perimeter as well. And it looks like they see you. And Fallout barks and runs over to Abigail. And Rosie comes up and kind of gives a side-eye look at Tim.
You've got a dog? Oh, wonderful! Wonderful! How did it survive?
Don't know, but it survived.
And
No,
Rosie just
Rosie can't
signs a
speak,
few
right?
things. Yeah,
Rosie's
no.
deaf and doesn't talk.
yeah, is everything
She
good?
doesn't.
Yeah, it's like is everything good?
She gives you a thumbs up.
Yeah, I give her a thumbs up too.
And so, Tim, as you're walking up, are you just kind of showing the standard around? You
Yep.
see Rosie signing. I don't know if Abigail hasn't picked up sign yet, has she?
No.
Okay, so she's looking at the standard like,
As far as I know, I have not.
If you want to, Abigail, you can point at me and kind of do the old whirly sign if you want. And
You know, that actually probably is a good thing. He's a little crazy.
I will start
So-
walking around the building.
okay, so you're gonna start walking around. Is Abigail joining?
Yeah, Abigail's following.
So Fallout will go with you as well, but Rosie actually just kind of points at herself and points at the door. Probably along the lines of, well, if you guys are going to walk around, I'm going to go inside. It's cold.
Yeah,
It's
I
cold,
sort of
yeah.
acknowledge, just like, yeah, okay.
Okay, so Rosie goes inside. Actually, she tells you to wait. She unlocks the door, gives Abigail the keys,
Wow.
and then goes inside. And expects you to lock the door behind her, because
Yeah,
that's
I
the
lock the
procedure,
door up
right?
when she
yeah,
goes in.
okay. Okay, so Rosie's inside, and you guys are going to walk around with Fallout.
Yeah, I look at Charlotte, man. It seems like everything's fine if she walked around.
It looks good. Should we just stay here for a minute and just keep an eye on things? Just in case.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's good because we can always go to the garage and get a knock and say we're here.
No, I mean,
So,
no. The fact that I saw Sophia on the roof is enough for me to feel like we've not been compromised. I think we should go back now, Kang. We should go and join them.
All right, so, he just walks over to that one. He gives her a wave to the girl up top. It's like, we're good. We're bringing some extras with us.
Hi, Sophia.
Come on, Fallout.
So
Follow.
to kind of speed that up, then, as you, Tim and Abigail and Fallout do their complete circuit all the way around. Tim obviously angling it out so that whoever might be looking from any direction might see the call for Sandra. At that, they make it back to the front door. Whether or not you guys come down before that or not, it's very clear that no one is responding yet. And if you guys want to head down and head inside, yeah.
I mean, while there is still light, I will carry on going around the building, and once it's getting too dark for it to see, then I will plant the standard out in front of the door, prop it up so that it's not going to fall over.
Okay. Well, easy to do. They piled the snowbanks up pretty high against the front of the building.
Yep.
Okay. So we'll fast forward to that. It gets pretty dark. Even though there's a roaring, well, they know, maybe Tim doesn't yet, that there's likely a roaring fire on the inside and safety and the beginnings of a home on the inside. At some point, Kang and Charlemagne and Ruben and Craig come walking up to the front door. And on your first circuit, perhaps, or maybe the second, they're all waiting there as you and Abigail and Fallout come round and unlock. Abigail, I'm sure, unlocks the door for them. Abigail, are you going to continue doing circles with Tim, or are you going to let him do it?
Yeah,
or...
I'm not going to leave him alone.
Okay.
I mean, you probably could keep ghosts out there with you to give you an extra, lookout with you.
But then the four of you are going to go inside. Fallout's going to keep patrolling with whoever's walking around the outside.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and it's like I give the rounds back to Charlemagne and just keep the gun and just gonna put this rifle wherever somebody else can use it.
Now, when we're outside of combat rounds, it's relatively easy for Charlemagne to pull out the magazine and put the rounds back into the clip. And then put the magazine.
But in the middle of the fight, you would have to just swap the whole mag.
In the middle of the fight, you just got to swap. Yeah, you don't have time to do individual rounds into a magazine. Okay, so the four of you go inside to wherever. The three of you keep patrolling for a while. At one point, Fallout runs off. He comes back with some small rodent or something in his mouth.
I found dinner.
I'll congratulate him. Well done, lad.
Oh, he's a fantastic hunter. We don't have to feed him.
Oh no!
Yeah, no, you don't have to feed him.
We just let him out and he comes back with dinner.
Yeah, for himself.
For himself.
He's not quite. He's not quite awesome enough to provide for all of you.
He's not quite bringing down deer yet. Not yet. A bit training, maybe.
No. Maybe. You do probably 2 or 3 more circuits until it's getting really too dark. So you plant the standard and head inside. And yeah, I mean, do you want to? I guess at this time of night, everybody would probably be in the garage around the fire pit. Probably preparing food and. Fallout comes in with his catch, and maybe in the past few days, being around so many people, Fallout has gotten kind of a taste for better cooked meat, so he drops his catch in front of the fire.
Next to the fire.
Looking at somebody can you take care of this for me?
Yeah. It gets a puppy dog eyes. Say, please.
So he goes out, gets his own food, and not enough for everybody, but expect us to cook it for him. Oh,
yeah.
I love this dog. He's brilliant.
So, as you're inside, does anybody want to explain to Tim what he sees as you kind of go in through the front door and what you've started working on over here?
So on the roof,
this area, and
So on the roof where Sophia was, there is an igloo. We've made an igloo with a little spy hole, but it's just made to look like a snowdrift. So we've got a secret, hopefully secret, guard turret, place that we can we can watch out from on the roof.
Good idea.
And then at the front, we've piled up piles of snow, and we've got spikes on all the windows and walls. So broken glass, bits of plastic and metal sticking out. We've tried to reinforce it so people can't like climb in through the windows. And we're working on a greenhouse in this section. We're building a greenhouse.
Surely good. Have you got a power source? Lighting?
Well, it's that I have a solar a solar recharger, but that's what I was trying to see if I can find a battery source. I mean, if we can find some solar panels, I could probably rig something up.
You could probably make a solar panel with your fixed skill with the right tech.
Oh yeah,
With the right tools, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's that I have like King has a couple ideas that he's gonna. I'll let you know a little later when game's getting close to the end about what he's gonna do.
Okay, so
Solar panels are just glass, aren't they? Glass and painted with a certain thing on the back, isn't it?
I mean, there's a little bit more to it than that, but yeah,
That's the basics,
essentially.
isn't it?
I mean, there's
Yeah, I can figure out something.
So yeah, all of these rooms are largely in the main part. I guess I can get on this.
I'll show
Are
Tim
not fully used at this point.
Show Tim his new locker.
I don't know that. What?
I'll show Tim his new locker. We have lockers.
Yeah, so in this
Thanks.
room they've set up like shelves and lockers and stuff, and that's kind of where they store all their stuff. This room was once like a break room, so I don't know that they're really using that for a whole lot yet. There's an office here with a safe in it that nobody's still cracked, but somebody has gained a level and they can try and crack it again.
As I'm playing, I'm on crack it. I'm gonna crack it. I'm gonna crack it today.
Well, we'll see. This room back here is where most of them tend to hang out. As you enter this room, you can see that this to have Craig there is a bit off. I guess I should draw it in just so we know. So we'll move Fallout. I'm probably going to update this map here in the near future as well. But basically, so there is a white truck parked in this bay that looks to be in very good condition, a pickup truck, right? So an empty flatbed in the back. Draw that onto it.
It was missing its battery, wasn't it?
It doesn't have a battery, it doesn't have fuel, but there's a truck parked in that bay. And then in this other bay, they have, I think, used the oil bay itself and some scrap metal and stuff to basically just set up a big bonfire that they keep going.
That's what I did.
Yeah,
I kind of rigged something up over there.
And so everybody else kind of lays their bed rolls and whatnot kind of in the rest of the garage area. Everybody stays fairly close for body heat and to the bonfire because of the cold. There is, you can see, I think I said it was right about over here. There is currently lowered like a ladder access to the roof, which is how they get up there to, kind of overlook things. And yeah, so they don't have power yet, but like Kang was saying, that's something that they're looking into. They're working on building a greenhouse, which they'll definitely need to get power on to kind of help with that as well, but that'll come around. It takes time. But yeah, there's a decent amount of people in here. So they have, this is Giolan, someone that they rescued. This is Carlos, also another rescuee. Well, I guess all of these people are. Francisco is one of Brian's characters. Sophia was Emma's character. Rosie they found with Carlos and the dog, Fallout. And I think if you mouse over all these, you can see the characters' names. So Craig, obviously, you just rescued. And who else do we have here? Oh,
my other character.
Sophia's hit points aren't full, by the way. You might want to pump that up.
Oh yeah, it's because she's still tied to her character sheet. I need to fix that. I'll deal with that later. So yeah, we've got a bunch of survivors. Got the dog, and yeah, everybody is kind of looks up and sees somebody come in.
The green is PC and blue is
I'm
NPC,
overcome.
right?
There's more people here than I've seen in years now.
This is my flock, Tim. I'm very proud of it.
Oh well.
And
well done for surviving together.
I mean,
so everybody looks up, and there's not. I wouldn't say there's an immediate feeling of acceptance, right? Because even some of these characters are still relatively new to this group.
A couple of days. Yeah.
But you do get a sense of like people look up, they recognize you, they see that you've come in with the away team, as it were, and on that level, you get a sense that there's immediate acceptance. Like, you've come back with Charlemagne and Kang and Abigail, you're good.
When he mentions
yeah, okay.
When he mentions that this is more people than he's seen in 5 years, I put my arm over his shoulder, and I want to say, in the words of the late great Joe Strummer, my friend, without people, you're nothing.
Yeah, I know. But we do need to do what we can for the planet, because it's in terrible shape. I worry we might be past the point of no return there, but I still agree with you.
Now,
well, the Earth's healed from many things in the past.
This is true, yes. This is just the latest extinction level event. The Earth has had many of them.
Yeah,
this is just the human extinction level.
But the previous ones have just been natural.
This was natural.
Caused.
It was a gamma burst, so it was a gamma burst from space.
Yeah.
So it was natural.
Exactly.
I mean, a lot of like the meteor hit, that was outer space too.
Yeah, it's true. So as you guys are chatting,
but we know there's aliens about, and Occam's razor. The chance of them turning up just 5 years after the gamma burst, considering
too much of a coincidence, eh?
Are you having this conversation about aliens loud enough? Do you think?
Yeah, they're sitting there talking over.
Quiet,
yeah, Kang's right here. He Kang's just sitting there messing with something.
Well, I'm probably going to have to explain what the Sandra is all about, because who was it came in saying there's a loony out there wandering around?
You definitely see. So it's funny because you see, although they're kind of separated by a bit, you can see that Rosie is signing and kind of alternately looking between Sophia and Carlos. And Carlos is cooking, and he's actually putting together plates of food. I'm assuming you guys want to use your perishable food up. So yes. He's putting together plates of food for everybody and handing them out to anybody who comes over, but occasionally with one hand and sometimes two, signing back to Rosie, and Sophia is. And so Sophia also is watching the four of you. And then Carlos turns and looks at you and says, "Aliens?" And at that point, as Carlos is handing out food, we'll say to Xiaolin and some other people are starting to line up, you hear a polite knocking on the front door.
Sandra doll.
I'll go have a look.
I will accompany, expecting to find.
I will as
a lady and her heavies.
Yeah, and as the shepherd of this flock, I will go with you.
I will go out there. It's like I whistle over to Ghost to follow me.
His name's Fallout. Stop calling the dog Ghost.
What, Fallout? Come on.
Fallout.
It's Game of Thrones, mate.
So I called the dog to come after me. It's like, come on, buddy.
I almost got ready for this during the break, but then I forgot to finish getting ready for it. So 1 second. Yeah. 1 second.
Oh God, that sounds so familiar.
Well, a polite knock to the door is a lot better than an RPG.
Well, I would say that like I lift the rifle with somebody back there. We get some people to start getting up top, so they can get a vantage point if somebody's going to start trying to shoot us.
Sophia's still up there.
Sophia's still up there.
Yeah. Oh no, she came down when you guys came inside. Yeah.
Yeah. So I handed somebody's like, here's a rifle. Somebody else needs to go.
I think we always have somebody up there at all points. There's always somebody there.
Okay, so who would have come down when Sophia came down? Do you think? put them.
Who
off
would
to
have
the
gone
side.
up when Sophia came down?
Or yeah,
I would have said my
correct.
I would have said my Jacob would have gone up. He would have just he
Yeah,
would have.
send
okay.
Jacob up. That'll do.
Yeah.
And he would have taken
I get
Sophia's crossbow. He's not going to do a rifle because crossbows are quiet, and it's
Yeah.
got a scope on it, so a good scope.
Well, if I'm told there's an igloo on the roof and there's a guard up there, I suggest to Charlemagne that he warns them about people in the vicinity and that we're hoping to make contact.
I will shoot up a ladder and go and explain that we're expecting somebody. Yeah.
Oh, what's
Because the
funny
last
is
thing we want is somebody with a crossbow to shoot Sandra.
There's Sandra dead before she gets the chance to parley. Shit. Yeah.
well, what's strange is so I guess at the same time as the knocking on the door, you probably would have had Jacob poke his head down and be like, somebody's come up the door with a white flag.
okay. Yeah.
I mean, you
This
guys
one
have never
can't-
really discussed it, but people tend to know what a white flag means.
was it
right?
was it
Yeah.
was it a woman, Jacob, by any chance?
Yeah, it was a woman.
I think we've got our Sandra.
She even pulled her red hood back so I could see.
A red hood. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Well, hey, do we still have that name tag, or does someone still have that dog tag on?
I've still got the dog tag on me,
All right, well, I mean,
And you've
good.
got
So at
the
least,
letter.
and I've got the letter.
yeah.
I'm almost
All right,
ready.
so it's like we can see out the door still, right? It's still kind of open
Oh, yeah.
through. So yeah, it's like King gets right here and looking around. He sees her. So is there like this her right there?
Yeah, so you've left enough space, like based on what you guys told me a few sessions ago, you kind of mucked up and painted up the doors so you couldn't just see inside. But I would assume that you left some kind of bar or something to where you could at least look out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
exactly.
a vertical ice type.
Tiny
Sure,
little horizontal
sure.
slit. Eye size.
So you see this woman outside. Let's show her artwork.
Ooh, she's pretty.
I was just about to say Sandra's a babe.
Yeah, I say, father, behave yourself.
What do you mean, father behaviour? I'm celibate, son.
He's joking.
Oh, so you're not Irish Catholic?
And
No, Catholic priests are celibate.
I would imagine
No,
that you're.
Catholic priests are supposed to be
Are
celibate.
supposed to be celibate.
Let's
Yeah.
get that correct.
Yeah.
I would assume that
For the record, Charlemagne does
you're
not
at least.
do that thing
Oh,
that
probably
they're
not.
famous for. Being baddies for.
So
Charlemagne
it's
is not
night
famous.
outside. Do any of you have a torch with you as you go to the front door? Because you guys don't have lights in this front section.
Ooh. Well, is she? There's a question. Is she approaching with any light?
She has a torch.
Okay, so we probably don't need one. if
I'll
she's
have a
got
torch
one.
in my hand.
Do you want me to light my lantern? I ask.
Oh, you have a lantern.
Oh, if you got a lantern, that'd be a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
I will
Gonna
light
have
my
to use
lantern.
up that fuel though.
Yes, but how
Although
long
you
does the
can
fuel
turn
last?
lanterns off, right? Yeah, exactly. So don't worry about it. You can light your lantern, and she says, not shouting, but not being quiet either. I can see you moving in there. That's my name. What?
Can we? We'll leave it to Charlemagne to speak.
We're coming out, Sandra. We're coming out to parley.
It's a bit cold out here.
Are you armed, Sandra?
That's a
She
stupid
pulls-
question, Father.
She's like,
She reaches into her coat, and with 4 fingers and thumb, she pulls out a large handgun.
ooh.
And with her other hand, she pulls out some kind of long blade. Looks like it was made of scrap, maybe a leaf spring or something like that. Essentially like the size of a machete. And she's like, I have these, but I'm not getting rid of them.
No, I'm not going to ask you to get rid of them, Sandra. We live in the same world with you. We know what it's like out there. Just put the safety on the gun, please.
She, switches her grip on the blade and puts it back, and then takes the gun, and so you can see it, puts the safety on, and puts it back in her holster.
Thank you, and I'll open the door to let her in.
Yeah, it's like
Come in,
And so
Sandra.
yeah, she steps inside
You've
with her
come-
hands up.
You can put your
I
hands
shut-
down,
I shut
Sandra.
door lock it.
You've approached with a white flag, Sandra. We will always honour that. You're under no threat here. You can put your hands down. It's okay.
She does so.
And I'm going to shake
So,
her hand. I'm Father Charlemagne, Sandra. It's
Oh,
nice to meet you.
so you hold on her hand. She takes your hand, and she's got a strong grip. Her hands feel rough. She's taken off her gloves so that she can engage with you. She says, "Sandra, Fen."
Yeah, I know. And I'll pull a letter
You
out of my
know.
pocket. Yeah, I met your brother, Sandra.
You may wish to rephrase that.
I have bad news. Your brother's dead, Sandra.
So you can see a shift in her eyes,
Your brother David.
but she doesn't break,
We came
and
across.
she holds out her hand.
And I'll give her the letter and the dog tags.
So the letter, as you place the letter in her hands, and she starts to close her hand on it, but then she sees the dog tags coming, and the letter just drops to the ground, and she takes the dog tags,
I'm sorry.
and then she slowly bends over and picks it up, and she says, "Did you all do this?"
No.
no.
Sandra, we've come across your brother and half a dozen other dead people when we were investigating a police station. Now,
Yeah, that's where I sent him.
what killed him is, it's going to be hard to believe, Sandra. This is an interesting story that I'm about to tell you, but I'm a man of God. You can trust me. I would not lie to you. And I will proceed to explain the aliens.
Okay. Do you call them
And I'm
aliens
sure-
or creatures?
Aliens.
Okay, fair enough.
ETs, or you call me T's.
No, he calls them aliens. He uses the word alien. They left in a flying, literally an unidentified flying object. I'll explain it getting shot. I'll tell her all about the other body that I found that was cut open. I'll tell her that your brother didn't appear to have been experimented on the same way some of the other corpses had been. I know it's not going to be much consolation to you, but I feel like he's not been
So
subject to the same
She-
kind of.
she holds up her hand for a second. She says, she looks over at some of the some of the rubble that you still have in this front area, obviously, because you're moving stuff around, you're trying to build the greenhouse. But she's like, "Do you mind if I sit?"
No, absolutely. Go ahead, please make yourself comfortable.
So yeah, she goes over and finds a place to sit, like just on some, broken shelf or
I'll
something.
clear an area for her.
I'm gonna ask
Okay.
who was doing the cooking.
Carlos.
was.
Carlos, can I get a plate for Sandra, please?
Well, I mean, you're gonna have to go back in there. I mean, he's back in the.
I'll go get it. Like King's saying,
living
I'll get it.
area.
Can you go get us a plate?
I'll go
please?
Yeah, I got you. He runs out and go get something.
You gonna get food for everybody? Maybe you can share a meal while you have a discussion.
Yeah, he gets some. He puts enough on a plate that people can pick at it, pretty much.
So yeah, Carlos says, "Well, it'll be stretching a bit, but we can fit one more. We already have to fit 3 more. One more isn't that much of trouble."
Is this my night for not to eat?
It's the odd number days you do it on, and today is day 12.
So yeah, Sophia
Okay.
and Kang don't have to eat today. So
No, it's the odd number days they don't have to eat. Even numbers they do.
it's the odd numbers day. Okay.
They
Thank you
don't-
for keeping
they-
track of
they
that.
did
So
it-
yeah,
well,
no,
they
you
did
have
it
to
on day
I was
one.
making sure if it was or not.
Yeah, you did it on day
Yeah.
1. So it's the odd numbers where you don't have to eat. Today's an even number, so you do have to eat.
So
Okay.
Carlos, we're just gonna say, since this is where you guys cook, that you've probably got some of the non-perishable food on shelves behind him too. So Carlos reaches back and grabs enough for a meal for everybody. And we'll just say that you're going to use, and I think it's a good sign of respect that you're going to use one of your non-perishables for her to have a meal in addition to feeding all your people. So I think right now we'll go ahead and very quickly subtract all that. So -1 non, -12 perishable. So you guys are down to 50 rations total. And I would imagine at this point you guys also probably have like a barrel or a bucket or some container that you've been melting snow water in for water for everybody, right?
Yeah.
So like, grab some water to drink as well.
Well, I would,
so yeah,
I would.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I would say probably would might have like a fire barrel or something in here, like we start a fire.
Yeah,
at least gives some kind of lighting.
I would even say that we.
Well, I mean, you could just shove the torch into the rubble. And...
We've set up a system now where we are boiling the water and then putting it in at something. So boiling
and then
buckets
storing
of water
it. Sure.
And then storing it, so we know that it's clean.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the snow is going to be full of fucking radiation and shit, isn't it?
Well, the radiation that you guys have to worry about the most is the UV radiation, and that's not really something that lingers in the snow. It's just going to do a lot of damage to your skin if you're out under it for long periods of time.
Yeah, but like atomic energy.
Yeah, it's not like you're having to deal with nuclear fallout necessarily.
Yeah, it's not nuclear fallout,
which is good. Yeah. So it's not to say that there might not be patches of radiation here and there because of the gamma ray burst, but like it's not as common as all that. So, but yeah, still boiling the water just to make sure that it doesn't have just stuff in it, right? Like that's
like Fallout might have pissed in it.
Yeah, right, exactly. He's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys sit down. You share a meal, and she is very grateful, and she eats the food that you give to her, whether or not you would give her one of the cooked meals that Carlos made, or the non-perishables that he quickly threw together. Whatever she is given, she will eat, because that is what people do in these days.
Trying to get in her good books, and on her good side, I'll give her the best of what he made. We'll give to her.
Okay. So Carlos has probably put together some venison and some root vegetables that you guys managed to find in a nearby lot and things like that.
Okay.
So she sees that Kang has run off and gone back into the building and come back out, and she is grateful taking the meal, and she says, "So, how many people do you have here?"
How many are we now? 13?
I look at Charlemagne.
Is it 13?
So, for your understanding, there are 12 of you. 13 if you count Fallout.
Oh, I
but
do.
12.
Oh, I
12
do.
people.
12 people and a dog. We are 12 and a dog.
Okay.
How
so
many...
you just tell her straight out. She's like,
how many are you, Sandra?
She laughs a little bit and she says, well, now, after a few encounters with your people, less. But not by that many. We are... I would call your group a village. We are a colony. I would guess we don't have an exact number, but there are probably at least 50 to 60 of us in the hotel, and more in some of the other buildings in the area.
Which hotel is that, Sandra?
Or, sorry, not the hotel, the hospital.
Oh, the hospital.
Right, I know about to say. I was like,
so it's you guys that have the hospital then, yeah?
The core group that started off together with my father and my family, yes, we hold the hospital.
And where did you get the rocket? Where did you get the rocket launchers?
I'm trying to fix my focus here. We hit an army base a couple of years ago. It took a lot of people, but we managed to bring some supplies back, weapons, a couple of SAM units. We never had reason to use them, but we set them up on the roof of the hospital just because.
You took on the Argentinian army in their own base and beat them.
took on. No, it was empty.
It was empty, right? Okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're probably dead.
Have I seen any sign of the military in the last 5 years? Above the table.
No, none of you have.
No
No,
sign of military, not a single chopper
No.
or nothing.
no.
No. Okay. And so have you seen any military in your time, in the years since it happened? Have you come across any military?
That weren't bodies on the ground? No.
Same here.
Well, I mean, maybe some of our group were military. I think we probably have a couple of. I don't know everybody personally. You all are still small. You have time to get to know each other. Outside of my family and the few people that survived with us since the beginning,
Sandra,
I don't know everybody.
do you have any other family besides your brother?
Well, my dad, who's in charge.
Your dad's in charge, yeah. What about mom?
No, mom passed before all this happened.
Not part of this. Okay. And in your community, the Red Hand, do you have many families, children?
As in recently born? No.
But do you have families?
Just
Do you have couples
survivors.
with children? There's some of the children that have survived.
The youngest among us is maybe 18, 19.
Okay. Yeah, I've not seen any children in 5 years. I don't think they did very well. I think we've lost a whole generation, unfortunately.
So
It's a horrible state of affairs, Sandra.
I'm gonna be honest with you, folk. My father's not happy with you all.
But I see why. But Sandra, your group attacked us, and we
Look,
defended ourselves.
I understand, and I was going to say that I know that that's the case. I've spoken to some of the survivors of your encounters. They indicate to me at every point you did not attack them, you responded. And you responded in force, as we've done with other survivors in the past. So I'm not one to hold that against you. Things might have been different if it had been my brother, I will admit. But for now, I will trust you, although I will be sending a group out to the police station.
Last thing we want to do is to be making enemies out here. There's so few people left in the world, Sandra. We can't fight with each other. We have to come together to survive as a race, as the human race. It's time for the human race to unify now. And whoever's left, the survivors, we have to stick together. Some
people are worth fighting.
We have done our best to leave your brother and the other deceased in as respectable a way as we can. They had just been left by the aliens. They were just piled up, and we've sorted them out and gave them all an individual blanket each. And my first thought was to cremate the bodies, but then I thought, obviously, people still have families. You're one of these men's sisters, and when we found the letter, we knew that we were gonna. Well, we thought that we would find a way to contact you and speak to you, and we'd be able to tell you about them and give you a chance to bury your own.
Can you tell me anything else about the other people that were found at the police station?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I think the aliens were doing some sort of experimentation on them. We found one where the body was completely opened up, organs were moved around, and I found this inside its body.
I came to look at it.
I'll hold up a little bit of metal.
I will chip in to say that apparently there were, I think it was 3 Red Hand and 4 children. One of whom was still alive and got away when we were distracted by the alien ship taking off.
So as she's looking, I mean, she doesn't try and take it from you, but as she leans forward and looks at the hunk of alien metal, as soon as Tim says something about the children, she says, was the father among them?
No.
I don't know who the father is.
No, Tim.
They do though.
I do. I've met,
Yeah,
She
he's one
mentioned-
I've met the father. The father was
very
not there.
nasty person.
Sandra, what is your group's relationship with the children?
They're an abomination. I
They're
mean,
cannibals,
surely
yeah. So
there
you
are some in my group who are saying that you're cannibals, but I
Yeah, you're.
find that hard to believe what I'm seeing here.
Look at
We
me,
did
yeah.
find the bodies of some of our people in the supermarket stripped, and they'd been. Parts of them had been cut off and taken, and they've been eaten.
Yeah, that's absolutely not me or any of these people here, Sandra. I would not allow it.
But the one who escaped said that you were the ones that they faced.
Yeah, but we were attacked by
I understand
your
that.
group and we defended ourselves. We didn't eat anyone.
And I am willing to believe, I do believe, at this point,
Look at
that
me. Do I look
some
like
of the children,
Do I look like I tell lies?
well, I knew the father quite well. And actually, as she's talking, you kind of get the sense that there's a familial resemblance
With her and the father.
from having seen the father.
Right. Okay. Elephant in the room. Was he a black guy? She's a black girl. Was he a black guy? Like, were they the same ethnicity?
Oh,
yeah, they
yeah.
were. This motherfucker looks like Darth Maul, actually.
Doesn't he?
Yeah, but yeah, they are of the same ethnicity. This could be a relation. I mean, it could be.
What is that? What the father look like?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
him.
Just the mention of him, Abigail's just like, ugh.
Now, they do have a bit of a familial resemblance. Like the shape of the lips, the shape of the eyes. Hey,
What, you think like a cousin, dad, or something?
does
Uncle, older brother.
does he seem much older? Yeah.
So you would obviously his head was shorn and he had some scarring or what you now believe to be some kind of possibly an advancement of his skin mutation, right? That although it was largely his right leg, it looked like maybe he had some kind of scale or chitinous structures beginning to grow on different parts of his body as well. But yeah, you would say as far as age, I mean, he's probably older than her. Could be old enough to be her father, but also it depends on how old her father is, you know? I mean, people have kids at many different ages. So could like I said, could be an uncle, could be an older brother.
But there is a familial resemblance. I'm going to straight out ask her, what is the father to you, Sandra?
An embarrassment.
You know him well, yeah?
That's all I'll say. Not anymore.
You did, though. Before all this, before the end, you knew him?
And after.
And after. Who is he to you, Sandra? Is this man a relation? No judgment from me. Your actions.
Make a talk roll. This
Your
is the place to use it.
Your actions do not. His actions do not. Can't think of the word.
Talk charisma, talk wisdom.
Yeah. Okay. Talk. The charisma, I actually I get a double bonus on charisma, so I'm going to use it. Oh, come on.
Okay, so he's family, or was. He's not anymore. Not since he started doing.
Yeah,
I imagine you know.
I get the impression. Yeah, I can see a familiar resemblance. Father, brother, uncle. I'm just gonna keep probing.
Oh, not my father.
Brother.
It's not important. He's nothing anymore.
Okay. Well,
He's a threat.
You know
That's what he is.
You know what they say? The enemy of my enemy is my friend, Sandra. So I guess that makes us friends now, right?
Well,
It depends on what the aims of the Red Hand are.
and she's finishing up her food.
Tim.
Nice. She looks at Tim and she says, "We've run into each other before, haven't we? Or at least my group."
Sadly, yes. Your group doesn't have the reverence for nature that I believe people should in these days.
So I think we're getting close to the end today. I think next time we might have a little bit of a flashback from Tim about how he's been involved with the Red Hand. So think about that for next time.
I love a flashback. Kang's one was awesome.
Nice.
In this episode.
Oh yeah.
She says, "Look, we're trying to survive. We're large. We're organized. Yes. We've maybe got some overzealous members that I've tried to steer. My father's a little bit more expansionist than I am.
I see.
And
I
then my
understand.
brother was.
And your father sees us as
A threat. He believes that you are part of the father's group. I've tried to tell him I don't think you are. I will try again.
we absolutely are not.
I believe that. But it will take more to convince my father.
What would it take? A meeting between me and him?
Maybe, but I don't know that that's the right step now. Right now, I don't think you have to worry about us. I'm going to pass the word to people in our group that I trust, that go out. Because some of us are, I don't know if you've reached that point yet, but some of us just stay at the hospital or at some of the other holdings that we've managed to hold. They don't go out. They're not built like us.
We don't have that luxury yet. We are still scavenging for food on a daily basis. We're living hand to mouth at the moment, so we do not quite have that luxury.
I understand. And I'm going to try to think of a way to open lines of communication between us.
That would be a good
But
idea.
after what happened this morning, I think you'll realize my father's attention is going to be elsewhere.
Absolutely.
I think you'll have some time to look after yourselves. And I'm going to pass the word amongst people in the outer parties, as it were, the scouts, the hunters, the scavengers, among people I trust, and let them know that your group is not to be trifled with.
Did your group see the alien ship?
We did.
And you shot it down.
Once your father discovers that the aliens killed his son, I would imagine that they may become a focus of his attention.
I believe so. And that's good for you and your group. That will give you time, I think, to get settled, get prepared. And then maybe, after we figure out what to do, or after my father decides what to do about these creatures. She has a hard time saying alien, you can tell.
I call them ETs. So.
Maybe after we figure out what to do there, he will have cooled enough to where we can open lines of communication between us. I don't see the need to force you to join us, but I see only benefits in having more groups pop up in the area if we work together when we can, if we're able to support each other.
I think that would be a way forward for us. Fighting's not gonna benefit any of us. I mean, we never wanted to fight with you in the first place. It was forced upon us, but it's not going to benefit anyone.
Well,
expansion to assist is good. Expansion to control.
Agreed. And I will tell you all.
Can I suggest
go ahead.
Agreeing areas we might forage without coming into contact?
So at that, she actually, it's interesting. So I think some of them have maybe already started to kind of piece this out, but she says, any building that's already marked with a red hand, we've been through. So you should feel no fear in going through said buildings. In fact, this building, we went over once, we decided against using it. It's only by chance that one of our scouts noticed you coming back here. They followed a trail in the snow from what looked like a sled
So when you
that led all the way from the supermarket to here.
So when you mark a building with your red hand symbol, you're marking it as safe.
This has been gone over,
This has
it's
been gone
safe,
over.
move
It's
on,
emptied.
find
Yeah.
someplace
Okay.
else. Yeah.
So that's not you taking possession of something, right? Okay. So
No.
okay. So we've not stolen one of your headquarters when we've taken this
You've not.
building. Good.
No.
Glad to hear that. The last thing we want is to be fighting with your group. I wish we hadn't had to in the first place, and I hope we never have to again. People versus people is not how it should, how we should be right now. We should be working together.
And
Yeah,
she says,
But I don't think you're in class cannibals as people. Kicks in the, the hunter.
And you make a
No,
point.
they're
And you
not.
make a point, Tim. You do that as an ungodly practice.
So she says that the encounter you had with them at the supermarket was the furthest south that they have scavenged in quite some time.
Okay.
The majority of their efforts are moving more towards the north, and in fact their group is considering moving further north in the future. She looks like she doesn't want to tell you something for a second, but then she says, we have a radio.
I look at her. I'm like tilting my head.
We've been receiving transmissions after setting up a larger tower on the top of the roof. We've been receiving transmissions from the far north. And it seems like people around the equator are reporting better weather, less snow, more survivable conditions.
Oh.
We've been considering heading in that direction. Right now, we're consolidating, making sure that we have supplies, looking into getting some vehicles, and possibly heading north.
King looks at her and is like, well, he kind of like flexes his fingers like, if, like at Charlemagne, if we're able to communicate and help each other out, I'm a good skill of fixing stuff, so if we're able to help each other out, I might be able to fix something up.
So she
I don't know if any of
smiles,
your people are good at
with her
that.
hand and says, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I'm not in control. And as I said, right now, my father is not particularly fond of your group. I'm trying to get to a point where he's not even thinking about you.
If you get any
Once we
intel
get
on
there.
those, if you get any intel on those children, let us know. If you can't
I
deal
would
with
ask
them,
the
we
same
might be
of
able
you.
to.
She asks if you have a map.
I look at him. Look at
Personally, no.
We do, don't we?
I think we do, don't we? Yeah, we got one.
Yeah, we do.
So-
yeah, we
She sees that you've been, and we'll just, for the sake of verisimilitude, we'll just say it's the map that I've given all of you, right? So you pull out this map that has some stickers on it saying where places are, what's been scouted, and she says, yeah, pretty much anything north of the hospital, you're gonna run into more Red Hand engagement. If you want to
well-
scavenge and scout and possibly hunt freely, you're better off heading south from where you are.
Do you know where the...
For now.
Do you know where
What about the church?
Is the church the base of operations of the Sons of the Father?
The
Is that
Father.
where- Is that where
Yeah,
they
we
operate out of?
encountered him there, right?
Yeah, it was in the church.
Yeah, that's where we first encountered them.
She says, "Oh, he drew you into one of his traps, didn't he?"
Yes.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he did.
I
Gang,
would-
He did.
I wouldn't say that's their base of operations. I haven't been to the church in a few days, or a few weeks. But if you encountered him there and ran him off, I doubt he'll return. He'll probably find some other hole to crawl into. But she notes that you've indicated on your map that you've scouted those 2 hexes. So she actually indicates someplace, if you all want to move to the map to take a look at it. I'm not going to say exactly where, right, because I don't know the area. But she indicates roughly a place, well, let's say in the hex that the hospital is in, but roughly in between the hospital and the auto repair shop. And she says, I know that there's still a male, like a standard, what we would consider to be, I don't know what they look like in Buenos Aires, but what we would consider to be like a mail drop, right? And she says, I know that there's still one that's standing on this particular street corner. You can open it up fairly easily with just a little bit of a lever, maybe a screwdriver or a tool. We can use that as a drop between us. If you
That's
find
a
out
good idea. That's a good
anything.
way we can communicate. At
That's a
least,
good way. I like that.
If you find out anything about the children, or if you find out anything else about these creatures,
We'll let you know.
and I'll do the same.
Oh, well, it's that he would know. It's like, hey, we did like encounter like what dogs with like some cancerous mutations on them, and I don't know. He's looking at. Did you encounter something like that?
So at the mention of mutations, you can see her flinch a little bit,
So dad's a mutant.
and
Not-
well,
not her dad.
I mean,
sorry.
you haven't met her father.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Her
her
cousin
family
or-
member.
I've got a funny feeling it's another
Yeah.
brother. I have a funny feeling
Could
it's
be.
another brother.
Could be. But yeah, she flinches a bit at the mention of mutations, and she says, yes, we've seen the same in some of the wildlife, even in some of our people. My father is strict, and some of the people that have developed visible mutations have been exiled. I don't know that I agree with this.
Now, does she start subconsciously scratching at a part of her body when we're talking about mutations?
No.
Is she hiding one? No.
No,
Okay.
she doesn't seem to scratch at anything. She doesn't seem to instinctually cover anything up or turn aside. I get what you're implying without being able to see more of her body. I mean, she's in full winter clothes, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to tell, but at least on what you can see, her hands, her face, there's no indication.
Okay. Can I ask a quick question? In the
Yeah.
last 5 years, basically, I've been making my way out of the jungle where
Oh, yeah.
I was from. Have I come across any mutations in the creatures that have survived in the jungle?
I think we will deal with that question in your flashback.
Okay.
Nice.
But for now, I will say yes.
Fair enough. Okay.
So, she finishes up her meal and, puts the plate or, hubcap or whatever you gave it to her on
Yeah.
down and stands and grabs up her torch and says, well, don't know that there's anything more to do or say right now. I I'm going to take my men and head to the police station and get my brother.
Just be careful
and
if
then I
those
will
things are
return
back.
to the hospital.
Be very careful if those things are back, because they're big and they're fast.
I have more than a few men with me. I think we'll be okay.
Okay. I will try and give a quick description of the location that Charlemagne left the bodies in.
Okay.
And a warning that we think they left with the ship, but one of them left out the front door rather than going up onto the roof.
There may still be one around.
So may still be around. And they were using the ducts. And
she takes all that very seriously and says thank you. And she says, I will... You can tell she's thinking for a second. But she says, I will also warn you. I don't know if you've attempted this yet. We've gone into some of the train tunnels, some of the sub-basements, some of the sewers. Just looking anywhere for people, supplies. We run into things down there that if you decide to go deep, be careful.
Can I ask
Go ahead.
If she was still talking, then I wouldn't have interrupted.
They're like people that have gone mad. They rush you. They try to claw at you. Some of them use rudimentary weapons, but sometimes there's tens of them. One of our group, it looks like they got run over by hundreds of them.
Oh. Now I'm picturing Fallout again. Feral ghouls, right?
I thank her for the warning. I've tended to stay on the surface. As a personal favour, if they have any indication that nature is recovering up on the equator, any information on that would be...
Yeah, she says from the reports that they've received... Yeah, from the reports that they've received, like, at the equator, some of the reports that they've gotten from a city that people are referring to as... I can't think of a really good city name right now, so I'm going to have to come back with you on that. But no, not New Eden. It would be like, it's an actual place I've been thinking of, but I lost it in my head. Like, so it's like new, but it's an actual like location that people are kind of coalescing around. But yeah, I'll give you that later. But she says that they...
Where is the equator in America? Is it somewhere in Central America?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
It's around...
It's a bit further north.
Like
from
Belize
Buenos
or
Aires.
something?
Yeah.
Bogota in Colombia?
Is it Colombia?
Yeah, it could be around there. But yeah, so she says they report being able to bring in some crops. They report that with the land not being choked by snow, they report that the jungle and the trees and everything have actually, their growth has been enhanced and is progressing a lot. They're actually in some places having to fight back the green renewal, which anybody that has a background in science knows that in some circumstances when plant life is exposed to certain kinds of radiation, it actually does improve its growth cycle, and it could be a problem.
Did you read about they've discovered a new fungus at Chernobyl that eats radiation?
Yep.
It's pretty cool. Like.
Heard about that. Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
If you're thinking of Brazil, Fortaleza, just 3 degrees latitude.
Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know that I've decided if I was going to use an island yet or not. I might go that route too, but I hadn't expected you to ask that question right away. It's a good question.
Or Quito, was it Quito or Quito in Ecuador? 0 degrees.
Yeah, there's Ecuador. Yeah, Ecuador is right on it, like literally right on it. Colombia.
I'll take
right
a look
next
around
to
at the equator and we'll see. But yeah, I mean, the winters where you are, well, the ongoing winter where you are right now is not as bad as it is, of course, further south. But to hear that, you know, at the equator, it's actually burning off quite a bit.
Tim looks
fantastic.
overjoyed to hear this.
Yeah.
I bet he is.
And Charlemagne smiles when he sees Tim.
Thinking of heading north.
So yeah, it's she thanks you and says, you know, you might want to. She plans on sending someone to check the drop at least once a week, unless you guys suggest otherwise.
No, once a week sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Should we set a day like Saturdays?
Does she want any messages to be neutral in flavour?
What do you mean?
Just as a general report without naming names and without kind of saying, you know, this is what we're planning on doing. If it's just a general report that children were doing such and such and so on, just in case anybody else happens to open it from the red.
Yeah, obviously, like, yeah, obviously you guys don't have time right now to set up a code.
I was just thinking of codes, yeah.
But for now, if you keep it relatively neutral, and she says maybe in the future we can meet again, and if we're going to continue this relationship, maybe come up with some kind of a code. If I haven't, and she laughs at this, but you get a weird sense. She's like, if I haven't just taken over by then.
Oh, okay. I smell a little coup.
Well, the impression is Daddy's spouting stuff that she doesn't agree with.
I think Daddy's gone a bit loopy, aye.
Yeah, right.
And finding out his son's dead's not going to help with that.
Right. So who knows what's going to happen in the next little while with them. So yeah, she thanks you all, and she heads towards the door. And unless anybody has any other questions or wants to stop her,
I will open the door for her.
Nope.
Wish her well.
So she steps outside and kind of like does a quick wave with her torch, and you see 8 torches light up in a line across the street. And there are 16 men there, waiting.
Ooh, damn.
Okay to take the standard down now, I ask?
Oh, yeah.
Please. And she says, she also turns and looks at you all and says, and you've done a good job camouflaging this place to make it look not as well lived in. I would encourage you to keep that up, at least for the time being, while I'm trying to figure out what I'm doing.
Of course.
With my people.
And again, Sandra, I'm sorry about your brother.
I appreciate that. I'm sorry that
I only wish that
some of our people...
I only wish I could have got there sooner. Maybe I could have done something. Maybe I could have saved them. I'm sorry.
Well, no one could have expected this, but I'm sorry that my people have been difficult for you. Know that as far as I'm concerned, losses happen. And when 2 groups meet in a world like this, you can't hold everybody responsible for first contact.
No, I know. It's the world around us is responsible. It's the situation we're in is responsible for the way we act. Doesn't make it hurt.
If we come across anything more to do with these aliens, we'll pass it on. And
I'll do the same if we find out anything. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm sure that Father has already sent out a party to go to the crash site, so we'll see.
Did Charlemagne tell them about the brain and the piece of equipment that I saw?
I told her. I told her about the little piece of metal. I showed her the piece of metal. I told her about the body that had been dissected and the brain pulled out and stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I would say so.
Right.
And to be honest, like, she didn't even really seem that interested in it. She doesn't seem like the scientific type, as it were.
Yeah.
She was probably like logging the information in her brain, but like,
Yeah, but it's what are these aliens using men for?
sure.
I have a couple theories. That's
Yeah,
Kang's
so do I.
thinking in his
None of
mind.
them are nice.
Yeah.
Oh no. It's something that Kang would probably talk to somebody else in the group, maybe, by like getting their idea about it.
Okay, so I think we'll call it there for today.
Okay.
But let's do a little bit of wrap up.
And XP.
And XP.
I'm
We've
stressed.
already subtracted. We've already subtracted the food for today.
Yeah.
So you're down to 50 rations for 12 people. Keep that in mind.
4 days.
I am going to give you guys a. You know what? I'm going to be nice. Okay, so let's do experience first. 1 point for participating. New rule, right? We said that last time. You're going to get 1 point for. I mean, you technically already got a point for clearing the police station. But you learned some stuff there too. Today. So I'm going to give you kind of a second point for clearing the alien information stuff. And then I'm going to give you 1 point for dealing with a potentially difficult encounter. Because this could have gone very differently if you didn't find a certain note. And
16 of them outside.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, everybody gets 3
Nice.
experience. Which is probably going to level Tim again.
Yep. Probably.
Yep.
Yep,
Because I
definitely
was on
was.
3, wasn't I? And I'm now up to 6.
Yeah. So, Oliver, if you want to open Tim's character sheet, do we want to do Tim's level up real
Wait.
quick
Right as well.
and let you start thinking about this? So, Tim is going to need to roll your level 3 now, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. So, you're going to need to roll 3d6 to see if your hit points go up. Well, they will, but we'll see how much.
Now, do you add your constitution to that as well?
He doesn't have a con bonus. You
I don't
should.
have
Do
con
you have a
bonus.
con bonus, Brian?
Yeah, I had a con bonus, so I forgot to add that.
So, what's your con bonus? 1?
1.
So
that would've
add
been-
4 more hit points to your total.
Okay.
And 4 more hit points to your current max.
Very nice.
You've got a crap
3
ton of hit points.
Yeah.
Okay, so 12.
pretty good.
Your current.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
Your
That's-
current hit
yeah.
points is 7, so your max goes up to 12 under derived stats, and you're at full health, so your current goes up to 12 as well.
Very nice.
Okay. Now
Wonderful.
you get 3 skill points.
More than me already.
Again, it's 1. So the basic layout for skill points is level 0 skill is 1, level 1 skill is 2, level 2 skill is 3, but you got to pay for each level. And then
So 0 to 3
also-
is 6.
the opportunity to buy a attribute bonus is there as well, but we're going to have to track those. I need to make a note somewhere, unless Brian did in his journal. Brian has had 2 attribute increases.
Yeah, I'll reset up my journal.
Okay. And I don't think anybody else has taken an attribute increase, have they?
Not yet.
I took
that-
I took an intelligence
No, I don't
attribute
think I did.
increase.
Oh, that's right. You
One-
took
one.
1. Yeah,
Mm.
that's right. Tim has had 1 attribute increase.
Does he
Doesn't
stay
matter
with
what
us?
it's in. It's just you have a maximum of 5 over all of your levels. So, we'll let you think about your skills. Also, at level 3, you gain think that's where you get your third edge, if I recall correctly, since we're doing enhanced characters.
I think it was an edge in the focus, maybe? I don't
No,
remember.
I've got 3 and he's got 2 currently, so.
Yeah.
So yeah, your second focus is at level 2. Then you get another focus
and
at level 5.
I took Deadeye at level 2.
Right. Your third edge, I believe, is at level 3. Hang on, I've got the PDF open. It'll be faster to search it there. So, that's rules. Here we go. Edges. Let's see. Yeah, so you get an edge at 3rd level. 2 at 1st, 1 at 3rd, 1 at 4th. No, wait.
We get 1 at 4th?
No,
I don't think
hang
so.
on.
No,
Back
I
up.
don't think so.
4. No, your 4th is at level 5. So,
Okay.
yeah, so you get an edge in addition to your 3 skill points. Okay.
Okay.
Nobody else leveled, I don't think.
No, I don't know when level 5 is. That's probably close to 20.
Yeah, I mean, you're not too far from it, but it's not
Yeah.
right away. Level 5 is 18
18.
experience.
Yeah, that's like 2. That's like 2 right there.
2 sessions,
So you guys
maybe.
probably
So
hit that
what-
next time.
Yeah, when's the next foci? Like, is it like level 6 or something? Or
Next focus is level 5, I think. I think you get the
So 5 we're getting
yeah,
both.
you're gonna get an edge and a focus at level 5.
Nice.
Yeah.
ooh, nice. Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's your last edge, though.
That's the last one we get.
You
I
will
mean,
still
that's
get a few-
understandable.
Yeah. You will still get a couple of more focuses after that.
Okay.
You get a
I
focus of
remember
5, 7, and 10.
Oliver, you said that you might be switching your character out for a little bit, right?
Maybe.
Well, we can think
Actually, I'm thinking I might be doing that for Kane for a little bit.
about that. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about that before next session. That's
Oh, yeah.
gonna be
No,
no trouble.
no,
to
it's-
just swap out with the characters that are available. If you haven't discovered them yet,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't get them.
Yeah, well, I got one that's already in there, so I was thinking about probably switching
Right,
them
right.
a little bit.
So, in addition to what's going on with Tim, although this will also affect Tim, all of you are going to need to... no, I'm not going to make you make a save for this. Or maybe I'll make a save, and if you succeed, you get more. Yeah, why doesn't everybody make a mental save for me?
Here goes.
This was kind of a pivotal meeting.
Made mine.
Charlemagne made it.
Nice roll.
Oh,
Dave.
look at that. Kang
Oh,
made
that's
it.
Natty! Oi! You knocked mine off!
Oh, hey, don't forget, it's like Charlemagne can help with those, right? Or no?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, technically, it's still part of the session, so yeah,
Yeah.
why not?
No, I failed.
Okay, Abigail and Tim, you
So-
can both re-roll. Roll
Yep.
again.
You get one re-roll
I can give
from
each
Charlemagne's
character a re-roll
ability.
per session. And we're at the end of the session, so let's use it. Come
Oh, look
on!
Ooh, Come
on.
Yes, we did good. Yay.
Okay, so here's why that's good. Because you just had a pivotal encounter with another faction, and it's possible that you have begun inroads to making peace with that faction. I am going to rule that as a major accomplishment for all of you. And so
Ooh.
everybody will get to roll 2d6 and reduce their stress by that amount.
Oh, brilliant.
Wow, nice.
Oh, I got a decent roll as well.
Oh,
nice.
that's really good. That's good.
So I can take 8 off my current stress. 1, 2,
Yep.
3, 4, 5, 6,
6.
7,
Nice.
8. Very nice.
10 for Abigail. Abigail
Nice,
needed that.
Nice. Decent rolls all round, guys.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, you're going to go to sleep tonight knowing that you have a contact among the Red Hands. It's very likely that future encounters with the Red Hand, at least south of the hospital, will probably be peaceful, like, oh hey, we see you, and we'll just go on our way.
If they're true.
So
to
yeah,
words.
that's... Well, if Sandra's true to her word. She gave you no indication that she wasn't. And I would say that you all got the feeling that she was very earnest in everything that she was saying.
Yeah.
She might just be a really good actor, though. Actress. So everybody has reduced their stress by a commensurate amount, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah, all that's left then, and I know you're looking at it, Tim, so no rush. You don't have to finish that on stream at all, is Tim to pick an edge and spend his skill points. And that's... Other than that, we're done for the day.
Sweet. Let's wrap it up then. And we'll just find out what Tim spent it on next session.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyone got any final words or any questions or anything before I do our outro and sign us off?
No, I'll talk to him about my change of character later.
Yeah, chat about that. After.
Okay.
Everyone good then?
Righto. Thank you.
Okay, so Brian, Max and Dave, thank you very much for playing. I appreciate you all coming in on a Wednesday to do it on a different night.
That's understandable.
Really enjoyed the session. I'm really loving this, one of my favourite games. It's a pleasure to play with all of you as always. And for our viewers, it's a pleasure to play for you to watch. So thanks very much for tuning in. Go tell your friends that RxOliver is on YouTube and it's the best channel for ttrpgs. Do the thing. So, bye everybody.
Numero
Thank you for
uno.
watching. Bye!